and all Killjoy. So a couple of changes here. We've got to question the prep behind that, Lauren.
We do, and of course we've seen the Viper as well. Definitely caught the attention of the desk, so no need to linger on it because we are into the game. And Sentinels on the attacking side, the returning Reykjavik champions looking hot to trot. And G2, the unlikely boys who are going to have to prove something monstrous here. Awaken the beast that has truly been just sealed away. So let's see what they can bring. Round one already started up. Sentinels having a look towards that A side.
Actually, straight away, the wall in place to prevent that cross into heaven. At least have to give some information away. Nuki going to be called upon here with the frenzy. Actually ignores the dash, but TENZ still finds the opening. Sentinels trying to carve their way into A site right now, and Mixwell left to do nothing but sit inside screens. Now the poison orb going to go up, and that's going to potentially give a lot more control over to Sentinels as the spike is planted.
Let's see how much ground they can get. It's like the springboard back in. ShahZaM does not care for it. He's leaning forward, catches the CT push from Mixwell. As Dapper looking towards that playback through from the T side, that flank that will be coming in. We saw it slowly building with a Vova over that side, but he's got support, he's got Kellogg's here as well. But Sentinels, boys, they're a little different. They just don't miss. This is clean. The only one to draw blood so far is a Vova. That's 2. But there's an army in the way. This isn't going to happen. 8 HP. The dream's dead. TENZ has got it. That's the first. Sentinels pick up where they left off.
Actually, G2, in my eyes, the correct formation to deal with that, right? The only problem being Nuki kind of stuck there. Once that execution comes through, being on the raids, there's no real get out of jail free card right there. It's a one and done, and he didn't deliver on that front. So Sentinel's able to capitalize on that opening fairly easily. See if G2 throw anything into it. It's going to be Kellogg's with a Sheriff, but other than that, that's across the board. See if they stack up and try and get a little bit aggro. I'm looking at 4 players actually towards A, but Spike leaning B side, and there's 2 members outside garage here. So Coldamenta will be called upon here, or at least Tommy Turret. We'll give that information away. TENZ and Sick. Information gun on the back of it. They will retrieve the orb. But elsewhere, again, there's 2 players creeping through mid as well.
Yeah, that's been catching my eye, and look at all the attention G2's putting it this way. They're about to get crunched on this. Poor Coldamenta. Very unfavorable scenario for him as Sentinels. Lovely start, very clean, and I want to see how they fare in these anti-ecos, I guess you could say. I mean, we have a Shorty and a Sheriff, not much else. This should be 5 alive. If you're looking at Sentinels as expectations, I mean, most of us, if we're being reasonable, probably chose between maybe Gambit, if you're more of an EMEA fan, NA, looking at Sentinels here, and if you're a bit weird like me, I go 100 Thieves. But these boys are the real deal. And as you can see, so far 5 standing, and Kellogg's is your last one there. Not going to get any bonuses there at all. Prime Gaming flawless, 2nd round. Sentinels looking sharp, and this isn't a surprise to us yet. This is going par for the course. Absolutely, and again, nothing really, gained by D2 in terms of how these first 2 rounds have played out. I think actually Sentinels are going to look to obviously capitalize on this, the SMGs here, maybe stack up for a full-on site here early on. G2 going to be called upon very early in this round. Again, I don't want to see them lean too heavily forward. This time looks like it's spread pretty thin. It's only Mixwell at the minute towards screens on A. It's double stack towards B tower actually, with a Vova down towards garage. But Sentinel spread across as well. Kellogg's going to be called upon in mid here. Okay, gets out. Might play in Nuki a little. Didn't quite get the pickup he wanted, and damage not quite being done until then. Coldamenta going to draw blood over by Mailroom, and they are actually greeting the challenge in towards middle, keeping them just at arm's length, maybe just far enough for those rifles to ring through. But bear in mind, statistically speaking, and just by every account statistically, and any way you want to look at this, G2 should be able to convert this round, but those SMGs, when brought up nice and close, if they can keep pressuring mid, can still do damage. Now again, this pressure is between Nuki and Kellogg's. Yeah, Kellogg's actually backed all the way away from this, and Six still forcing his way in here. Actually getting way closer. Vova has to be called upon for a gravity well there. And Sentinel's closing the distance here. It's going to be really difficult. Kellogg's is down to 2 HP. Yeah, this is good though. Nice aim from him, but now he's under severe scrutiny. He's going to be eventually found. Vova's got his back though, and this is good trading. Dapper, great work. Big damage. Wants to pressure CT. Why not get in there? Get in their faces! Nuki, he's got it. And there's one back, as they needed to stop the rot. You don't want to see that bonus round being converted. That's when a spiral could occur. Yeah, again, one more weapon there. I'm a little more concerned for G2, but majority stand. Sentinels forced to reinvest. Yeah, it's interesting to see, again, that slow kind of progression through mid, again, trying to cut down the distance, make the most of those SMGs. Turret out. G2 well positioned to handle that, though. Again, Sentinels, this time actually,
3 members over towards A main. Again, Mixwell the only one on A site for G2. Be very careful here. Again, the Viper wall up. Sick actually opens up straight away onto Kellogg's.
Look, you can get away with that against others, but the aim on the Sentinel side is just unrelenting. Mixwell's going to have to deal with this as well now. TENZ on the other side, he knows what's around that corner, but he's got Nookie by his side, so it's not so bad just yet. Actually, even gets to back away. Lovely utility work, but does he dare double down? Nookie wants it, sticks around for it. This isn't bad, but this is still such a bloody battle as Sick wins that final fight, and now suddenly the site is open, ready for the taking of 3v2. And there's going to be the ult to just allow that ferrying of the spike across safely.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a comfortable plant inside the Viper's pit. Over and Cold Amenta. Really, really difficult for them to break through here, especially with Zom's position so deep. Actually gives them a pocket just behind on site, really, to play from. The wall as well across elbow. This is a tough retake for them.
Oh, you think about the utility that's just been flooded in. They can just sit the time ticking so favorably towards Sentinels. Avova shows where he is now. Pulls attention, but shows that he's also off it. Dips away, but that allows Cold Amenta. Finds a bit of space towards Dapper, but bear in mind there is one player who is the safety net, but that is going to be Zoms. Has to give away position, but he will get Avova. That's exactly what the doctor ordered. As Zoms, the swishest safety net so far.
Actually, investment of the ultimate there as well. Very, very late into that. It's just desperation to maybe create some pocket of safety on site to get a defuse through, but about the half at that point. This is a problem. The first time, like I said, Sentinel stacking 3 up here, so kind of Nookie coming across to rotate. Mixwell obviously put in grave danger behind the wall. Again, if they can stack up like this, I think Sentinels really, time and time again, can condition G2 to lean a couple of players towards A. And look at it now, on the back of that previous round, they've got Kellogg's there, Cold Amenta switched up, Mixwell now again looking for control around the orb. So Nookie put in a position where he'll have a lot of pressure if he tries to even stop this cross into Mail.
That's right again. G2 have a couple of bits and pieces. Mixwell and Nookie getting the Spectres, a couple of Sheriffs to supplement, but it's very light in comparison, of course, to Sentinels, who are sitting quite flush. Shaz on the Spectre, the rest all locked and loaded, but maybe feeling out what they're coming up against. No real rush on this one yet. Yes, the wall's invested, and TENZ showing a little leg, but it's not too much to worry about just yet. 58 seconds, and there's the first contact. Sick with a comfortable opening, looking like they want to get towards B now. Take that space that's been given and allow TENZ that freedom to roam a little further forward, clear the site, and you can already see those defensive lines are starting to build up around this site.
Dapper, good awareness by Kellogg's, at least of the possibility. Cold Amenta actually good for the trade. One weapon retrieved at least in mid, but how much more they can do in this round. Sentinels with a man advantage, and it's tough to break through here with 2 SMGs. Cold Amenta can even get out of that smoke, actually. Sick. For a moment, glanced away, and actually Cold Amenta finds one.
Yeah, but it's instantly traded. That's the beauty there of TENZ coming around. But it is going to be found again by Nookie, so there's a bit of a back and forth here, but Mixwell just saying get out for it as TENZ is just locked in the back of the site, and Zoms is the one to shut it out. This is comfortable from Sentinels. Yes, a couple of kills here and there, but I'm looking at rounds now. This is not a comfy map for G2. If you look statistically, sure, you may look at it on first glance and go, oh, that's okay. But think outside that one game they played recently, it's all been relatively far in the past. This has not been a map that they sit on, so this is a gorgeous take. On your screen.
Let's go.
They're feeling themselves. They're pumped up, and why not? This is the first step on the stage for them. They have to reclaim that reputation that obviously followed them off the back of Reykjavik. They're the #1. And again, I've not seen a team look so comfortable with the target on their back as they do.
ShahZaM actually going to pop Blade Storm off the rip here. Kellogg's actually with the operator online. He's over towards B main here. He invests the showstopper, but nothing on the other side of it. That's a lot of utility getting sent out here by Nookie just to try and slow down this push or try and regain some control.
Nice,
Actually, TENZ
Nookie.
will find 2 there. TENZ and Zoms full.
Yeah, that's so well done by Nookie. Finally taking a little bit of, I guess, proactive play towards middle, even though he's been pretty much dictated to by that man. Even just the audio cue forced his hand earlier on, and now ShahZaM is not done yet. He still has to do some more because Dapper just got caught off trying to play up towards A. Can Shaz do something miraculous here? Knives out. It's time to go. Has to find the player just around that corner. He knows what he's got to do. And no, it's not worked out well. Cold Amenta, lovely, lovely play there. Very calm and collected.
The problem here, again, Dapper, we've seen him in another situation. Coldamenta this time around waiting there. Obviously, anticipating that lurk. That's going to be the big problem for G2. If they can actually spread thin enough where they can greet this presence in mid, they can maintain control and look to Kellogg's on the operator to do that towards B Garage at least. But Dapper is going to be a constant threat throughout this half. And actually, Sentinels now. Sheriff's across the border. Stinger. On the side of Dapper.
We went real Australian on that. Stinger.
Stinger.
Bit sharky.
Bit sharky out here today.
But we'll see what it looks like. This is a... I mean, we've got 4 Sheriffs. So a little bit of a Shiko here. Yeah, maybe they can punish these closer angles. But G2 well aware, of course, of the economy. Maybe not the Stinger. So going to have to respect that. And sit a little deeper. Make it hard work. The Sentinels do at least get a little bit of ground gain towards that A site. But Coldamenta still just happy to sit back. Spam away. Not too many worries just yet. How much room is Shaz going to be given here? That's what makes me nervous.
This is what I'm talking about. Kellogg's being in position with the operator to greet kind of the other side of this play. And that's on the back of that contact on A, right? So absolutely can't fault Zoms for trying to find something in there, but that's what I'm looking for G2, is remaining composed, keeping that structure and formation on the defensive half.
They could overwhelm here so easily, though. Yeah, there it is. That's the problem. There it is, TENZ!
Oh, my word.
Welcome to NA Valorant, boys. It hits different out here. That's an op now gone. They've got the site to themselves. Keep in mind, Shaz was holding that rotation, too. They're going to be so aware of where people are. Shaz can now get that spike plant. They're going to be getting the res back up. It's all 5 standing now against 3. And this is just panic stations galore. Look at this play coming out. Dapper is just a rock for this side. And you had no right getting this round, but it looks like it's theirs. Unless Coldamenta wants to clutch this one out. A 1v3 now presented. And he's got to get this done, but it ain't easy. And it's not going to happen. Dapper and Sentinels. What a way to turn it around. And
this is the problem. You talk about the composure for G2. You give Sentinels an inch, they will take a mile. And that was just systematically breaking down the weaker sides of G2's defense. And TENZ in perfect position to punish Kellogg's there. It's just insane to watch that. And that's the thing, as soon as those weapons come through, even with the lockdown.
I love this. Look at it, look at it.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, shout out to cameraman, whichever one called. They're like, okay, fine.
We're going to get some good B-roll today.
One? Yeah, no, we are.
Yeah.
Find the one yelling, find the one real sad. There it is, gorgeous. We do have a timeout. And that's going to be a tilter as well. That's a round where you're like, okay, well, they've got a Stinger, a couple of Sheriffs. Okay, we'll just play this pretty chill, sit back, sit deep. Maybe don't ego challenge people like TENZ, don't just sit on angle.
Not usually advisable, no.
There's like a safety, warning on it, like, do not do this, you know what I mean? Like, again, I think something that we talked about throughout, the regular season leading into this was the mechanical ability of some of the North American players. It does push pretty high, and they are able to bring that out whenever required, and I think we're seeing a little taste of it here. I'm not saying it wouldn't have happened to other teams. This is not a stronghold for G2, if we're going to be sensible about this, which I'm sure chat and everyone at home watching are being sensible, right? We're not,
obviously.
We're not overly getting into it, right? We wouldn't lean into that. No.
Not a chance.
Not a chance.
Could be us.
Could not be us. But no, again, I think this is going to be a stark awakening for G2 here. And maybe it's going to be hard to bound back. Again, this is a map that I will say should go to Sentinels. So again, how do they then fire it back up without getting a little down in the dumps? Because you can see it. They're out of their chairs. They are happy to get in their heads.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the key thing here is we're really, yes, they were tested the other day versus F4Q, but G2 now have to prove to us that they're able to innovate and adapt on the fly, because Sentinels are one of the quickest to pivot one way or the other. And again, all credit to ShahZaM on that front in terms of the in-game leadership. But take a look at this round now. Sentinels much slower in approach. 3 over towards A main here. Spike sat comfortably with Zoms, and Kellogg's with a Blade Storm, actually. Not given anything. Sentinels are anticipating. G2 pushing forward, making the most of this lesser purchase, but Kellogg's will be forced back now. ShahZaM creeping ever closer towards Nuki. Might get caught there, actually. Damn, a rare miss from him.
Well, uncharacteristic, but TENZ has still been let off the leash. Shaz still watching for that reaggress, catches it too. Nuki. Sentinels are just too aware of this, and TENZ has followed Coldamenta comfortably. This is looking like they're trying to find those little gaps in the approach, and they're just not being presented. ShahZaM is like, well, I've seen what you're up to, I get the idea, but it's not happening here, boys. A 4v1 of Over and a Spectre.
I mean, Avova, no real
left.
option but to try and
Spike
find an
planted.
exit here, but expect Sentinels to be in place to greet him wherever he decides to show his face. Not even really tested on the way in there. And again, this is the immediate response based on Kellogg's obviously creeping a little further down mid. That information is relayed by Zoms, and right away they're positioned. See if Avova will find TENZ here and an upgrade for himself, but,
Yeah, but look
Sentinels
at it.
will probably want to remove this from him.
I don't know how strong the economy is right now for Sentinels. I didn't actually take note of that. So I wonder how much they're willing to chase this down and get it out of his hands. I see two of them already exiting, getting far away, so they should be safe enough. Maybe just leaving one to chase. And actually, Avova's just fine. So yeah, no real threats beyond that. Rifle should be kept on either side. Yeah, so Op still in play for Shaz as well. So Zoms and Shaz keeping hold of that so they can at least keep that economy nice and healthy, kind of filtering that back through. And G2, well, clutching at straws here. A bit of a shocker for Mixwell as a start. Not normally something we often say or see. He's normally a bit of a rock for the side, bit of that safe pair of hands, but he's been a little absent thus far.
Yeah, and the thing I want to see from G2 here is them become a little more decisive, a little more proactive with some of this early territory control, because A-main's effectively being given up right now, and Sentinels are able to sit there. And the problem with Dapper doing this wall every single round, sitting behind it, there's that constant paranoia builds of how many people are stacked up behind that.
Okay, let's see how brave you're going to get, because we've seen the difference of when Kellogg's is having a good performance too, something that he's not had a chance to yet, really. Nuki's been doing quite nicely at holding through here, but this time he's got Shaz working up with the op. Oh, this is bursty as well. Hold on, this is going to be real pacey. TENZ, man! Who needs any further flashes when you've got him and that Lear? Sick has his back, but it's over to isolate the first. Capitalized on the second, and it ain't over yet. G2 still holding strong, but ShahZaM is the only one to find success, and that's in middle. So now look what remains. ShahZaM and Dapper. And if G2, if you fumble this one, you're going to be in the bin for it. But Dapper's going to take the time to maybe investigate a little deeper. Say, Shaz, hold on, give me a sec. I'm a work. Let me get some work done. Because keep in mind, I don't think Kellogg's is going to be considering this for a second or two. There's going to be that internal clock. Wow, he's actually already thinking about it. Dapper. Yeah, well done, Kellogg's. Great decision-making there. And wow. G2 actually hold it down. I saw a world there where Sentinels were about to slice them apart. I
think, again, Dapper going a little deeper than he maybe should have. I'd love to play with the Viper's Pit, throw down a little distraction on site, try and find that kill within spawn, but at the point you're walking towards stairs, you got to think maybe there's a possibility they're tucked in there, trying to maintain this spike control. But just coming back to this Kellogg's point, we talk about the composition here, and the other day what we called into question was kind of that support system behind Kellogg's, right? How do we enable him? How do we get him online? And this here, I mean, what does he have? It's the operator. It's almost kind of this. He has to be self-sufficient.
I want to see if he gets punished this time, because he's been going for this peak a couple of times now. Shaz is looking for, I guess, something out this way. Maybe starting to read into this, but look who's around the corner. Mixwell, are you trying to find an angle on that? This is just pixels apart here. The spray, it's not beautiful, but it does find intended target. Shaz, though, this man's on a mission. Take down Heaven control. Can't quite get it that time, though. Nuki, once again, steadfast. Holds Heaven. Look at that spike.
Yeah, my eyes go straight towards over here. Obviously, Sick does have that wall to get himself safe passage. And that's it, the Cosmic Divide going to come up as well. Just to make absolutely sure elsewhere, Nuki will find TENZ, but again, it's just to allow Sick and Zoms access to B site here. Avova tucked up behind, and Goldamenta in hell. Now a 2v4. Ultimate's available for G2 as well.
Yeah, plenty to work with here.
Placing sentry.
Now we wait patiently for that playback through. They're already quite close here, G2, just around this corner. Sick and Zoms. One back site, one towards main. The first challenge. It falls, no trade. Kellogg's is going to go down. There's nothing more. It's Nuki. Great round from Nuki there, and a couple of the others chiming in well, but I've got to say it, between, in my mind, Avova and Nuki right now, we have the pillars that are keeping G2 competitive in this.
Yeah, and again, I mean, Avova is synonymous with playing that anchor role, and time again, he's able to bail G2 out. But in this series, he's really going to be tested, right? And we've seen it a couple of times now. Sentinels, they're testing the water, they're dipping their toes elsewhere, and they have such a good read on when to hit these rotations, right? When to catch G2 out, create their own gap almost to the defense. And this is another perfect example. Yes, head count maybe is a consideration to make here, but G2 remain composed on the retake, and they only leave one.
Why is he not swinging that guy behind the wall? It's so fucked. TNT. Alright, let's put out the top, guys. Yeah.
Crazy. Seems like that was a little bit of a weird round in their mind.
Yeah.
Huh.
Odd.
Huh. Are they allowed to say that word and I'm not? Fine. Alright, fine. But yeah, I think something I was kind of considering coming into this as well was that there's a chance that G2 are able to, I guess, wake a bit of a beast, right? They are a sleeping giant to an extent. We don't know the depth of this roster. I think we saw the run coming into this, the qualification to this, and we all went, wow, okay, that's quite surprising. But they did suffer losses. It wasn't flawless. It wasn't perfect. They lost to, who was it? I think Supermassive Blaze, Gambit, Ascend, FPX, you know, a couple of big names. But they also were able to best a couple of other big names. Fnatic were also some of the, you know, the victims that fell to the likes of G2 and many, many others. So again, it's very hard to categorize G2 right now. They're still in that rebuilding phase, but looking at Sentinels coming into this, gleaming record, just so good. You know, they're going back home from school real proud, putting it up on the fridge. So I'm still waiting with bated breath at G2. I'm just looking at them at this point.
I mean, I come out of that first series that we saw, and I wasn't absolutely sold. And that's the concern. Again, if you talk about just on paper, expectations coming into a series, what we want to see. And that map 2 still sticks out for me, right? Mm-hmm. We start talking about depth and being really tested or pushed to kind of explore these other possibilities in the playbook. Kellogg's on the stage just didn't convince me, and that's kind of a telling factor for a lot of these other things that we discussed. So this in particular, perfect example, right? Kellogg's is called upon to be self-sufficient, to be finding those open duels. I'm concerned for the attack. What does that look like for G2? Where is Kellogg's going to find, you know, the ability to be solo pushing and finding space versus a team like Sentinels?
No, and you're right, and they are seasoned with dealing with that sort of play, especially from anyone. I mean, the entire region is known for this aggressive play that can just open up off the back of incredible individual skill, be it coupled with that support from the rest of the teammates, of course. But again, you have some of the most headline superstars hailing from NA right now. I think we don't need to sugarcoat the pill. NA is
secret.
leading.
Yeah.
Now they picked up the Reykjavik win, and you know, rightly so, the way these boys performed. Truly impressive. Oh, no, don't agree? Fair enough. But,
Be really upset with that.
Yeah, I know. Sorry I called you guys first. No, they can't hear us, I'm kidding. Relax. Before there's more Reddit threads, we don't need it. But as we stand, we're just getting the, hopefully, gear issues fixed out. Everyone comfortable. Don't want any excuses.
No, of course not.
Of course not.
G2's social media team probably really pushed for excuses at some point today, maybe? You think?
I would never say such things.
No?
They rented a damn plane. You think I'm saying that?
Do you think there's a follow-up banner for that plane?
Do you think they've already recorded it too? They've got like 3 other versions. When they win, if they lose. Can you imagine?
All bases covered.
This is our clown thing that was actually the Sentinels social media manager, whoever it is, they're pulling OT. I've appreciated the lead up to this, and be it forced or not, I think is something beyond the point, because if it gives us a close game with excitement, I'm all aboard it. And like NA and EU needed more fuel to the fire, right? Like the 2 regions have been insufferable at each other's throats the entire time after Reykjavik, and even leading in. It looks like we're ready to go. Coffee being consumed from the beautiful shop. Maybe get a Red Bull instead. Way better. But for now, we jump back through to this and have to see where we left off. The money has been humbled for Sentinels.
Sick with the Spectre here. Again, Sentinels going to focus their efforts towards mid. And actually, nobody even hold this. Nuki going to be called upon here, but Sick actually finds the opener here. Response from G2's got to be fast. There's only 2 more players here to defend. Mixwell actually, listen, that orb onto Hell, I expect that was the intended. What's down available? That's yeah, there's only 1 member towards B main here. The alarm bot's going to spot that out if Dapper decides to push on through. Sentinels now, they found a kill.
Yeah,
trying to spread the foot. Look at Kellogg's though.
I'm waiting to see if ShahZaM can start exploiting any rotations as well. Just talk about the ult coming through there. That would be Killjoy popping theirs down. Avova looking to maybe open up an avenue of keeping control if needed. Capitalize on this. Time bought. Res came in.
A lot invested into this round though, considering TENZ has got the upgrade now. You got Nuki just with the showstopper, no main weapon, and he's going to get absolutely ripped apart there. ShahZaM finds the opener. Mixwell will trade it out. Sentinel look to pile on the pressure.
Yeah, they do. Mixwell isn't alone here. Cold Dementor apparently had his back. What is Sentinels doing? How are they converting some of these rounds potentially? There's 3 now left. Great work from Zoms. We didn't expect the follow-up from Avova. Now a 3v2. Up in the hands of Kellogg's and Avova with the rifle. But the site is completely under wraps by Sentinels. Post-plant now, 2 rifles collected, put into the hands of TENZ. Dapper, Sick, all just fine. TENZ going to put himself as the tip of the spear to swing if needed. Skog starts to maybe have a little look around. Size foray into this of over. Just starting to lean through, and TENZ caught one. And now Kellogg's, yeah, run as much as you might. They're not going to let you leave. Sentinels! This is twice now. This is twice now this has happened on weaker buys that G2 have just been slowly suffocated.
And this is the first time they strung together a 2-round victory as well. Sick, just no respect to any of this utility here. And this is the problem. I think Nuki actually got his showstopper triggered there. So it was actually costed as well on top of the lockdown and the revive for G2 to try and swing that back in their favor. That is the biggest disaster you can look at. Yeah, Nuki, look at it. Ultimate's gone.
Yeah, G2's mental is being tested here. Sentinels, there is never not a round that they're just not a danger, not a threat. They'll find something, they'll work for something, and this is that rude awakening. But it's still a decent half if G2 get maybe 5. I'd say it's manageable on 4, but it's tough. And for now, Mixwell gets that first touch of damage as we wait and see what happens here.
Feeling safe.
We'll try and actually get a ramp. Takes a lot of damage on the back of the snake bite and a bit of spam through that poison orb as well, but 3 members of G2 hit against Spike, just completely the other way. This is an attempt for Sentinels to pull rotations and it's working perfectly. ShahZaM swings out once again. Has to retreat though. Now it's just 1 man. It's a Vova in position to try and hold down B. As soon as this hit doesn't come through, I want to see G2 moving, but look at them. They're stuck. They're all trying to they're trying to control A site when there's nothing there. It's the wall for Dapper that's keeping them.
All right, Avova, what have you got for us? You have every player coming your way. You are in danger, you are under threat, and you're dead. ShahZaM, he doesn't need to see you to find you. He puts him to bed. Kisses him goodnight and says, see you in the next half. But 3 now stand. Coldamenta, Nuki, Mixwell. Spike now planted. And they have the way to work back in. They have so little information on this side of the map as well, playing back in from that A side. ShahZaM happy to look towards heaven as well. Look for that drop down from rafters. Coldamenta is up there. That'll be sick. Gets the first option to follow up. It's going to be TENZ supporting him. And now just old Nuki, and they know where he is, and they're going to start hunting him down. Nuki, though, denies for now. For time, High Pocket's starting to dwindle down. He's got 3 more to find. This feels almost impossible.
It is absolutely impossible here. Nuki has to find another one before the way in, but Zombs will stop that from happening. Sentinels will close out 8-4 on the half, and nothing short of clinical in my eyes. Again, those 2 thrifty rounds stick out in my mind where G2 looking a little rattled. Again, to throw so much in terms of investment back into that round and it go the way it did, that's a killer.
It is. It's going to be a bit of a mental block as well, I'm sure. You saw the timeout straight away after that too, so they're going to have to pull themselves back together after that one. Sentinels coming in and they are loud. They are incredibly loud. They are very much pumped up for this ready, and they know the rounds that are getting their heads, but I think we might be in for a treat in a second now. I don't want to get too ahead of myself. Once we know Sean's in place, we're diving down to him, because you know what? Why wait? NA's biggest fanboy. He's by the wall. Let's head down to Sean to break down one of his favorite moments from this first half.
Thanks, Lauren. I feel really smug down here right now at this 8-4 score line, and Sentinels started off flying. Maybe G2 should have took that plane. Anyway, we have Dapper lining up some Viper utility to kick off this round. You can see right here he's going to launch his smoke, so let's go ahead and start the clip. We're going to just get a nice util lineup. And then we're going to hop into the minimap in a little bit. And this is a lurk smoke for that A ramp position. He also has the wall cutting through the A site. And I'm going to go ahead and talk to you about why that's important in a second. But what you're going to notice Sentinels does is they triple group inside of this Viper smoke. And then Dapper picks it up to drop it. They see the wall up at the top ramp. And let's pause here. So at this point, Sentinels is falling into a B-type strategy, right? Sentinels is a team that they don't have just one tactic on a round. They have layers, right? If the heaven hit doesn't work for X, Y, or Z reason, we're going to fall into this strat now. Okay, so let's look how they can react. So again, Dapper's wall cutting through the A site. Why is this important? It blocks the vision from the A player, as well as when Sentinels goes up this ramp, it blocks the vision from this Sage right here in the back. She no longer has the sight line towards the ramp, so Sentinels are trying to eliminate all the possibilities of the deep angles so that way they can clear up box, right corner, as well as, you know, the close vents angle. Once they realize that this Sage wall is up, everything changes. That changes the dynamic of the strat, and they're going to use the wall almost to confuse G2, right? It's not likely that a team would push through this Viper wall on an A hit. So now let's roll through a little bit, and I'll show you what you're going to see. You're going to see SHAZAM entering into this A site, into his own smoke. And this is a mechanic that's not very well known in the scene. It's the fact that Jett keeps vision throughout her dash. So he drops the smoke, dashes in, and if you look closely, he's hard clearing all of the left side of the site. So everyone's trailing him right now, and on their mini maps, the Raze shows up. He's giving the comm, and let's pause it one more time really quick. And you can see simultaneously while all this is going down, we have ZAM smoking both screens and a tower. So SHAZAM dashing in, TENZ trading the kill. That's going to put him back on 150 health on a pistol round. And let's roll it through a little bit more here. So SHAZAM progresses up, and what I want to draw attention to now is the post-plant setup. Everything is so well thought out when you watch a Sentinels game. You have the spike going in the corner, you have Dapper holding below Hell right here, and his job is to hold the A ramp flank, which he has a wall conveniently there to help him. You have SHAZAM doubled up with Sick, holding the elbow position into screens, and what do you know? Actually, that smoke that Dapper picked up is now at screens. So everyone's utility serves a purpose, everything is used perfectly, and that, my friends, is why Sentinels locked in this split pick and is catching G2 off yet again. So back to you guys, Pansy and Hypoc. I hope you guys got something planned.
Well, we've got nothing planned. We're just hanging out, honestly. We're just here watching. However, I do hope G2's got something planned.
I hope so. I mean, we were talking about the innovation being tested for G2, and the perfect example from Sean there with the composition here. I don't know how much G2 are going to be able to achieve, right? A lot of this now relies on Kellogg's and Nuki. That goes without saying, but we're talking about finding opening jewels. Now, we look at the matchups, and again, TENZ, SHAZAM, and arguably Sick in this scenario on the Sage. How successful are they going to be doing that? And how successful are they going to be across the entire half to not only build the comeback, but effectively attempt to win this?
We're going to find out right about now. 8-4, Sentinels very much in the lead, but now it's the turn of G2 to breathe the aggressors. And speaking of, Kellogg's first man forward, joined by Nuki, takes out Sick, and it's quick. He's going to keep on going forward, and Zom's back of sight.
Oh my
Somehow
God.
manhandles two. The third, not too far for him. But the sight just precariously in control. Kellogg's, it wasn't pretty, but he gets the job done. That's 3 for him this round, and now 3v2. Dapper and SHAZAM. And Shaz has found a little bit of timing to this.
Got ahead of
Hold
Avova.
on. SHAZAM, if he can find this on his own, that spike plant now denied. Avova catches the rotation, and now the fight is going to be between SHAZAM and Avova. SHAZAM, you're a nasty, nasty player right now in the 1v1. Kellogg's has already found 3, and it's to save it. SHAZAM! Just breaking hearts!
My God. SHAZAM with the Red Bull clutch in the pistol round, and has absolutely no business doing that. Avova drifts back, anticipating that flank, and for a moment, Nuki is left absolutely exposed on site as he tries to get that spike plant.
This timing, perfect.
Last player standing.
And I thought, well, Avova's got it. He's surely got the flank on the flank, but no. And then this fight, the tag, but Shaz is just that bit better. I think that was a let's go, baby.
It looked like it. I'm not a great lip reader.
No, but it's a classic. It's a
Yeah.
classic. But what a way to kick it off. And yeah, it's the old Thanos thing of I just don't even know who you are. You're looking at these two. G2's making all these, you know, social posts, trying to pump it up. You need some results to have a rivalry. And right now at 9-4 after that pistol. Uphill time now. G2 just being put in the blender. Shaz wants to free farm. Get those knives coming out nice and early. And he's going to do it again. Flawless Prime Gaming. Sponsors love this team.
Definitely getting their quota from this matchup. I just, again, yeah, we're going to come in now. Obviously, a good opportunity for Sentinels to make use of carrying across all this weaponry from the previous, but G2 have to dig deep. The mental's being tested. Whether or not we've got anything from the playbook we're going to see them be able to find success with. But now, again, Sentinels expecting them to lean away from A, right? With these first 2 rounds going the way they've gone. I think G2 now got to reconsider their approach. Actually, seeing now on the minimap, you can see Sick and TENZ looking a little feisty in mid.
There you go.
TENZ all the way to bottom mid already.
He might be going walkabouts. TENZ unleashed. Vova seems cognizant that there's a chance that someone's had a bit of a walk down middle, and it's his job to try and keep control of that timing while the others explore those extremities. It's not an easy job. You can see Nookie every angle could contain that threat, but it's Zoms at the top by ramp, still with Spectres. This is the bonus. And it's already got a kill. That's lovely work from him. Couldn't convert on a second. That's a little bit out of reach, but already a trade effectively is not bad.
TENZ still posted, and Sentinel's actually able to lean away from this now. Dapper going to be called upon. I think maybe just spotting actually on that jump. He did actually, yeah. Kellogg's going to walk right through the snake by both of them, but Mixwell will close down the kill. You have control of B site now. Look how quickly the flank comes through though. Coldamentis still posted outside A main. No information here. He's effectively lost in this lurk right now. Sentinels could find a straight 3v3 if they're quick about this retake.
See it. TENZ quickly on it. Gets the tag, not the frag. Sick though, follows up well. That's Avova now gone. 3v2. And now a double stack towards that CT side is going to make it tricky for Shaz to find a clean entry. Yeah, it's not going to happen. Mixwell, good catch on that. Sick has got himself an upgrade here. So that's 1. And Kellogg's is now on red alert. A little worried, but Coldamentis got his back. There it is, G2. Keeping in this one, 10-5.
3 kills for Sentinels though. Will keep the economy honest, even though they're able to turn around back in their favour. I don't think Kellogg's is onto that Blade Storm just yet. So can't even drop a weapon across really. Nookie on the Judge. A Spectre for Avova. Mixwell will be able to get the Vandal. SHAZAM Blade Storm already online with those first 2 rounds. Zoms as well with the Cosmic Divide available. But again, it's look at this complete denial here by Dapper's utility again. Poison Orb will go over main. The thing is now they can use Zom's utility effectively, reactively, right? As soon as G2 shows something, they have that audible possibility.
And this can only go on for so long. They don't have much to catch any flanks. They don't have a default. This has a time limit on it, and they're going to have to go soon enough. And it's going to be right about now. Kellogg's on in. Nookie to follow him. Mixwell not far behind. The site is going to be theirs. This is postured for a retake almost instantaneously, but Dapper down a little ahead of the spike plant, so it's not too bad. 6 aim is sharp today. Kellogg's feels the brunt of it as we already have Nookie going walkabouts. But the problem is, you got Zoms ready and waiting. They're reading you like a book. They're about to close this chapter if you don't pick up the pace. Look at this. Sick just walks back in. This is my site. Get out. 11-5.
Absolutely clinical from Sentinels. They allow G2 to enter. They give all this space up because the protocols are in place. The contingency is there to make sure they never relinquish this site control. Nookie finds all this space, but he's got a Judge. If anything, he goes a little too deep. At the point where he's got control of that spawn elbow here on B, just sit there. It's actually crazy to the Sentinels absolutely flawless right now in everything they're setting up to do.
It truly is a treat to watch. I don't care what region you're from, who you're a fan of. Sentinels looking in form, looking like they're picking back up from Reykjavik, but still early doors. Best of 3 here, only the first map if you're just tuning in. This was Sentinel's choice, no surprise to the G2 fans. You know, this is not normally within the wheelhouse, and we are seeing obviously a weaker purchase. 1 rifle, the hero rifle on Coldamenta. SHAZAM. Oh God, they line up. Don't make him just ring the bell. That's 2 easy frags. Make it a 3rd. He's putting on a show. Make it so easy. He looks so comfortable. And the last 2, not really a threat right now.
Rookie's still bottom mid. Sheriff in hand. Paint still available, but again, at this point, there's no real value in doing any damage to the economy of Sentinels. Spam comes through from SHAZAM. Coldamenta will find 1, but don't expect Sentinels now to be over-peaking on this. Oh, he's going to swap the barrel there. Yeah, another freebie.
Man.
The 4th for SHAZAM. Is he good for the ace? Little eco farm just to close things out.
There it is. Anything they can't do right now?
No, No, I don't think there is. I mean, Sean brought up a perfect way, and it's that word protocols, right? Whatever happens in these rounds, it's never looking like Sentinels aren't in control, right? They're able to peel back effectively. It's that 3 to 5 second window where they're able to just turn around and basically flip the round right back in their favor. That's on the back of, obviously, Sick falling in mid. There's no building pressure on the back of it.
Here.
Clean comms.
Yeah, yeah.
They're just having fun. That's terrifying.
Go for a listen in, maybe? Or
Some take this one, but it is 12 to 5 to G2. Let's get it, boys. Get ready for that next map otherwise. Icebox is on the horizon after this. That would be G2's pick. But right now, Sentinels have sent more than a message. They want to create that dynasty they were talking about. This would be a good first step. Clean start in the groups. While opening nade. TENZ going to be suffering off the back, but doesn't really yield. Has to be forced to kneel by Coldamenta. And the space gets taken, or does it? ShahZaM waiting, always so patient, but the flank coming out from keloqz could be good, but the timing's even better for Shaz. There's the trade, though. Nookie's got him. Puts him back. SHROUD's back sight now. He's got 4 players coming his way. 1 left, 1 right, 1 up top. They're just about everywhere, and he can't deal with all those angles. Too many to find as Dapper. Your last one, a little further out. You ever heard the story of the 1v5?
I don't think I want to. I've seen enough already.
You seen enough? All right. Well, Dapper going to give it his best shot. No reason not to. Up through those vents, but he's being watched. keloqz's eyes trained on it. And he's going to at least get the reward from that. 12 to 6. It's going to be a mountain to climb to come back into this one, though.
It is indeed, and the thing is, you look at that round and it's an anomaly, right? It's very rare that you're able to get to a position where you can overwhelm Sentinels, and that's what I feel happened there. This comes back to the same thing, right? You've got to become innovative in the ways that you can be able to achieve the same thing here. keloqz, a couple of nice kills there, but
We need consistency, man. We need it across the board.
Exactly. You need him to be doing that every single round. Every single round.
Yo, nice shot, bro. Yo, nice shot. Nice shot, bro.
Cool. Just completely unfazed.
Oh, it just doesn't make you feel good, and that start is going to be making Shaz smile like the Cheshire Cat. Already 2 big stars. Dom's like, well, look, we let you have a nice couple of rounds. Your aim's feeling good. We're going to shut it down. Sentinels just flexing, flawlessly closing out in that final round.
I mean, you look at that last round, and it's just like G2 are like, okay, guys, let's try and go A again. There's no real intention. The utility's not in place. None of these key spots are even pressured by G2 on the way in. And again, little misuse of potentially the wall or the blast pack there, but it's flaky. I'm worried for the next map. We saw them tested the other day, which again, you could say was a bit of surprise. I expected G2 to walk their opening series, and they didn't. And I'm starting to see similar trends here, particularly in some of these. Look at this.
Yeah, it's just,
there's no pressure on ShahZaM whatsoever.
None. He's just living comfortably. No one really going to get close, and even this, like Zoms, just doesn't even break a sweat. Look at it. Look at that. Champions. You can see as to why. These boys have not taken their foot off the pedal at all. After Reykjavik, still looking so solid, so sharp. And, I mean, for the rest of the tournament, this is also sending a message saying...
Oh, absolutely.
We are still the kings here. The crown, it may be a little heavy, but we're just fine.
I mean, the interesting thing, obviously, you're hearing ShahZaM talk about how he feels. They're not pressured, right? And most teams, you know, they put a target on their back if they're successful. They're coming in, it's like, hey, guys, the pressure's on you to step up to our level. I think that's a clear psychological advantage. You come into a game like this, and like I said, you question the depth of the playbook. You question, you know, how are they able to be versatile? I'm talking about G2 here. And we just didn't see any of that in this matchup.
And that's a really interesting take on that, of normally the pressure is on the team that's in that first spot, right? The team that is leading the fray. Exactly. Because how many of them eventually fall, right? Eventually they get too stuck in their ways, but Sentinels are just constantly adapting. And they're just pumped up. They're loving it. These boys live and breathe this game. That's it. I don't know how to other way to say it. And G2 had a couple of moments. It's not been completely one-sided, but the caliber of Dabs is just truly in favor of Sentinels.
It really is. I mean, obviously, coming into next box, Icebox, I mean, again, can we expect a total revamp from G2 and a complete pace change? I hope so. Is it going to be effective? No, because you think towards the win conditions for Sentinels there, I think they're too damn strong for G2 to handle.
Well, these are questions that hopefully the desk can maybe address. What can G2 do with Icebox on the horizon? And, well, maybe you can break down a couple of things that maybe went astray. However, you're going to find out all those answers to the questions after the break. So, guys, stick around.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Welcome back to Masters Berlin, where any concern about a slow start for our reigning Masters champions and Sentinels can be promptly thrown straight out the window because Geo, holy crap, they did not miss a beat here in map number 1 on Split.
My dude, I said NA are the best region.
You did say that. It's not that I didn't believe you. I wasn't sure that it was going to be that dominant.
What do you think about that? Just
Why are you looking at me like that? I mean, I said the Sentinels was going to win the whole thing. Okay, so I'm saying by that. I knew that they were going to be strong on the map. I saw some things from G2 that I consider mistakes or that were not just well executed. I do not like Mixwell on the Sentinel. We've seen in many occasions. I think that he does well on Duelist. He does well on Initiators. I love him on Sky. I just don't feel like he was comfortable on stage. He didn't get his first kill until the 9th round, I feel like. And Mixwell is the kind of player that you need to step up. He's so confident in lines. He's so much experience. And I feel like maybe for this map, we knew that they were going to try something new. I liked it. I really like Olamenta on Killjoy. But I feel like obviously it wasn't enough. And also, Shaz, come on, stop this.
Oh, it was disgusting. I mean, look at that. A 369 ACS. Like, what is that?
It's just
2.7 KDA.
It's actually awful. And I think in the best way. It was awful in the best way. But I think also Sentinels were just so good at twisting the arm of G2. We already saw Sean talk about how that Viper's wall on A was really pivotal and how it led G2 to constantly have this focus over on the A side. Now, one of the things for me is that when G2 were defending, there was this sore spot of not sufficiently defending Garage, you know, whether it's because sometimes they would put some Killjoy utility there, sometimes it was just wide open, especially if you had someone like ShahZaM who'd be playing up mid, getting the opening pick, and then everybody can swarm. They just didn't have something that could sufficiently go against that.
Yeah, he's just Mr. Do-It-All, and I feel like it's very important what you were saying about the controllers and taking up the space. The Viper wall. On the other side, we had an Avova playing the Astra, first time that he was playing it on this map, and we said it on the pre-show, this is going to be a duel of minds. I feel like Avova was tested. I feel like Hypox said it, that Avova was going to be tested throughout the entire series because he's playing so much Astra, but he's not still fully used to it, and I feel like maybe that's gonna take a toll on him. He did great, still missing Mixwell here. Let's see what they can do on Icebox.
I just think, you know, like talking about the controller play and the Viper and whatever as if that was by someone who always plays Viper. The fact it was Dapper who usually
I loved it. I loved
like, hello, welcome to the world.
It reminds me a lot of what Gambit does. The double controller, I'm a big fan. I think it's like one of my favorite compositions. And looking at this, look at that first bar percentage, 21%. That means that at least 1 out of 5 rounds he gets the first kill. That is amazing to see on someone that, I mean, he just can do everything. I'm really concerned because on Icebox we might see him again on the Jet, and he looks unstoppable today.
Yeah, if he brings any more of that magic in map 2, then it might be just wrapped up and done like that. I'll also call out that round 11, and Hypoc called it out in the cast as well. Round 11 thrifty by Sentinels.
I have it written down.
Not only
here.
do they get the win, but they pull out the showstopper, they pull out the lockdown, and they pull out the Sage Res. All from G2. I mean, that was a disastrous round if you're on the side of G2.
I feel it's what you get when you're trying and testing stuff. They were like, okay, we know that they're on an eco. We want to use the rest. But I feel like the worst part of it, of course, it's a huge investment, but you are also using the rest when someone is taking the gun out of Nuki. And I just felt like it was just so expensive for the outcome. I feel the stage was shaken with
that's the thing I'm really worried about, though, is that Nuki up to that point has been actually playing pretty well in this map. And yet you take these really valuable things away from him. You take that showstopper away. You take all of the things around him that could support him. You know for the next however many rounds that he's not going to have that facilitation that you have on your side. Now, sure, this was Sentinel's map pick, but if something like that can be repeated on Icebox, I'm sorry, but that's terrifying.
We'll have to see, and we'll see soon enough as we turn our attention towards Icebox, because again, this was Sentinel's map choice. It was the expected result. G2 is going to get their crack here on Icebox, and so for me, I'm very curious to see what, if any, adjustments they'll make based on what they saw here in map number 1.
I don't think that they're going to make adjustments on Icebox. I'd be surprised, actually, if we see some changes coming from G2. I'd say that for Sentinels, they're obviously going to keep Shaz on the Jet because he's doing amazing. Why wouldn't you do it?
I mean, you keep him right where he is when he's top fragging and popping off in the way he did. Also, I will call out, no surprise, really, that it took all of 1 round for the trash talk to start on the stage.
Yes.
The Sentinels players are letting the G2 players have it
jumping off
right
his
now.
chair all the time.
I kept trying to time it so that I would actually be able to film it on my phone, but I kept having to write things down because I was like, oh, that's a sick play. Oh, that's good. And then I would miss
having
it.
to do our jobs.
I know.
Instead of just enjoying the banter. I hope you're all enjoying it at home as we get a look at Icebox, the next next map that we'll be heading to. I mean, this one that we've been far more familiar with over the course of the tournament. Kukuka, your thoughts here? As you mentioned, maybe not a ton of switch-ups rather for Sentinels because things are working for them.
Yeah.
For G2 though, I gotta wonder where the answer's.
The answer, I mean, it's going to be a tough one. I like that they're going to start on a side that it feels comfortable for them. But to me, I always say every single time that I see this Icebox, I love seeing it on competitive, but to me, it's such a coin flip. It is a shaky ground for Sentinels, not their best, but still, they're coming in super strong today. I really felt like they were gonna lose their first map today. Maybe this is the one, but I don't know how mentally damaged are G2 right now from what just happened on Split, honestly.
I will call out the last time that either of these teams played Icebox, there was one difference in their compositions, and that is a Reyna for a Raze. TENZ on the Reyna and Nukie on the Raze. So that might indicate we get one small difference in composition.
Nukie was doing great on Raze, so I think he's going to keep it, and we're going to see TENZ on the Reyna. Just to keep the flow of what the day is bringing is, of course, easier to get into a game and play exactly what you were playing, just in a different map.
Yeah, it's a very stylistic thing. I mean, personally, I know that it is a point of contention and everybody has their own opinion. Personally, I'm actually a decent fan of Reyna being played on Icebox, especially if you're going for A hits, for example. But obviously, the benefit that you get from the Raze, not only if you naturally prefer her kit, but you do have a little bit more of that aspect of being able to gather information that you can share with the rest of your team.
There was one thing that concerned me a little bit when we were doing EMEA finals, and it's the presence, especially qualifiers, the presence of Mixwell on mid. He wanted to be sometimes aggressive and keep that part controlled by his presence, and sometimes it was sloppy, not entirely sure, but I feel like they've learned from that, and that is something that they cannot do again against Sentinels, because they're going to be keeping an eye on that.
I'm also very curious to see where the patience for Sentinels comes into this map. We had a couple breakdowns the other day by Sean as well, talking about retakes onto B site, and we saw a lot of that patience on display in map number 1, Split. I'm expecting it to continue, and then it's going to be about, in my opinion, the way that G2 can ultimately disrupt that flow for Sentinels. Get them out of their rhythm. Right now, you're playing Sentinels game. You need to play your own.
Yeah, one of the worrying things for me is, and this is kind of something that I mentioned in G2's game against F4Q just a couple of days ago, but G2 lost in the EMEA playoffs. They've actually lost to the other 3 teams from EMEA that are here. Now, that might not sound super relevant, but they played Icebox on every single one of those series as well. And I just wonder if they couldn't necessarily stand up to teams within their own region on this map. Are they going to suffer against arguably the best team of any region?
Yeah, they're like right in the middle. We cannot say that their stats are the best, but I also feel like they've been trying a lot of stuff. We also saw Nukie on Omen in one of the matches, so that was still qualifiers, but still, they've been testing on almost every single map, but this Split, we just saw what they were preparing for it. I don't think that there's going to be major differences on Icebox, because I feel like after their last win against Gambit, they're feeling more comfortable and more centered in what they want to do and what their strengths are on the map.
Ultra relaxed on the Sentinel side of the stage. You can feel maybe a little bit more tension coming from the G2 side as well, as we're getting the players into the lobby and soon enough into our Prime Gaming Agent Select. We'll see if any curveballs get thrown, because to be fair, actually, we had some expectations for what was going to be pulled out in map 1, and the teams did bring some surprises. So who knows? Maybe there's a trick up somebody's sleeve that could help us extend to a map number 3. Again, I would love to see that, Haven. It's always a fun one.
I would love to see it, because as I told you, it's my favorite map to watch from Sentinels. I don't know, it has something different to the rest of them. But I feel like they have to play in a safe zone, just somewhere where they're comfortable and keep in the flow, as I was saying.
Well, we are currently waiting for one of the players' PCs to restart, so I want to talk about another matchup. Let's talk about duelists again. We're going to go back to that, because if you can't keep Shaz down, let's talk about keeping TENZ down. All right, you got to take care of one of them, right? Is it possible?
Has anyone made it look
my answer.
possible?
Here's the shortest conversation I've ever had on an analyst desk. barely a conversation at that. Nukie, we did say we liked him on the race.
He was
Let's
doing
keep
great.
him there,
I feel
perhaps.
like he was doing great. He was using his utility for his teammates, and I feel like he was doing his job. I'm really happy that he's going to step up probably on the race again here on Icebox. We still don't know that. Maybe he goes for the Reyna. But even when Nuki was on Heretics back in 2014, I really like the way that he played Jet, actually. And he didn't used to do it on a Fisher, but on Prex, he was completely crazy. So maybe we even get to see that. I don't think so when Kelos is on the team. But he has to be one of the different makers here, because he was being one on Split. We need him to step up and keep it doing it.
Yeah, I like the thing as well with TENZ looking on the other side of things. TENZ is that player who... he doesn't have to be the center of attention. You know, if you compare his, his first blood statistics slightly less than what we saw from ShahZaM, even his damage per round, like compared to Nuki, that's actually quite a substantial difference, but it's because TENZ, you can always trust him to come in when he's needed, whereas rather than like solely relying on him for everything. And I think that's what makes Sentinels so terrifying. Whereas with Nuki, he and Kellogg's have quite, different roles, different play styles, and if you lose one, you're not necessarily guaranteed that aggression is still going to be there in the same way you can with Sentinels.
I think it's also important to mention the fact that NA knows that in EMEA we love Icebox. As you said, G2 played it against every single seed of EMEA, so that is something that is going to happen no matter what, because you're going to want to ban ACEND against these teams. It doesn't matter if it's G2, if it's Gambit, you know that is a strong card for them. You don't want them to play. You need to go to another ground, so they have prepared a lot for this one.
All right, Nuki feeling at ease here, so perhaps, yeah, he does feel good heading into Icebox. On the point of TENZ, it's really interesting to me that while he absolutely has the capability to pop off, he is the most demure of the players on the Sentinels squad. So a little bit unassuming to a degree. You almost forget sometimes that he isn't the loudest personality on the team, and then he shows up with some unthinkable play to remind you that TENZ is TENZ, and you need to respect him out there on the maps.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. But I think that's kind of what's nice, it's kind of silent but deadly. I mean, I have to say, I felt that about TENZ as well. When we had a rehearsal day and TENZ was getting his makeup done, like next to me, and he was so calm and just sort of whatever. And I remember thinking, like, there are people who are terrified of you, and you are the most unsuspecting person.
Yes.
As he's just getting getting his makeup done.
he was just standing there. Hello. He was really nice. I also think that it's not the same playing Reyna on Split as impactful as it is on Icebox, because it's going to help you a lot pushing into different zones of the map and helping Stras on that task.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned earlier about particularly on A pushes, right? You're really going to be looking to that Reyna, because you come around the corner, you need to use the Leer, oftentimes combined with the Owl Drone too of the Sova, and that's going to give you all that initiation power that you need. Whereas, obviously you can do that on B, and is useful on B, but the A side is really where I predominantly think of that. Whereas on Split, not so much you need that. If you're looking at like the B site on Split, for example, you want to be thinking of your Razes, your Jets, who can dash straight into the side, less so than, I'm going to initiate with a Leer.
Well, people rightfully afraid of TENZ out there on the maps, but they should also be afraid of ShahZaM when he's pulling off plays like this. Our Verizon high-speed moment from our previous game on Split. Round 13, pistol round. Walk me through a Kukuka.
Oh, I love this, because he gets this kill on a Boba, I feel. And oh my god, this was so... Why did he play it so fast? Because we knew that it ended up... It was
we'll watch it again.
I really like how he sneaks in. The timing is so wrong with the Boba. He was, I think, keeping an eye on Dapper, and it's just ShahZaM. I think he did the same on the next round, but it's not as flashy, because after winning pistols, I mean, against the Nico, it's just not that big of a deal.
Yeah, definitely less impressive, but 6 kills across 2 rounds is going to make you feel good. And again, you saw him throw the arms up across the stage, letting G2 know what's up as he pulls off the clutch in the pistol round to make the map feel as dominant as it was.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I love that you just talking about it there. You're getting excited as well. Yeah. We've already seen it.
Yeah, but I lived through it because, we were here sitting on the desk just watching the game and obviously listening to all the reactions. And it was just crazy when he gets the first, he gets the second. It's like, we see everything. Obviously, you see the minimap and you're like, oh my god, the timing on this.
But it is really scary to me. You think the way that he managed to flick round onto Avova, he knew he was there. Avova didn't manage to execute the flank. Now, this was on a map in which Sentinels aren't running any Sentinels. You know, if you didn't need a turret or an alarm bot or a cam or a tripwire to know that that was there, that's very scary.
But that's what makes ShahZaM so scary as a player, though. He himself is a Sentinel. The way his brain works, it's just the knowledge of, all right, I found a kill here. I know where the next guy would be coming from because that's where I would be. Just it seems like it was second nature. He can read the map so well.
They're playing with a 6-person squad, but with 5 people.
That's it.
You know, it's like, yeah, we have all of
G2
these.
never stood a chance.
Yeah, exactly.
We were mentioning the workload that they were putting on ShahZaM, and obviously he knows exactly what to do with any agent. It doesn't really matter because he's done the homework for every single person in the classroom.
Yeah, we'll see what the homework is for Icebox because, again, it's not their map pick, right? So that's as much as we've had questions about how G2 comes back against Sentinels, I'm also curious what kind of homework Sentinels has done to dissect G2's Icebox play. Is there any holes in G2's Icebox play that can be easily exploited?
I feel like on Split, they decided to give G2 a lot of space and just play a little bit more on retake, forcing them to go on the execute and making that huge investment and then just breaking it and breaking their tempo when they thought that they were getting more comfortable. We saw it a lot on 2B. And I feel like this is exactly what they have to do on this map as well.
I'm just having a look at Sentinel's history on Icebox.
How's it look?
Well, since the start of February, they've only lost on it twice.
Yeah, but they're
pretty
close
alright.
up results.
Yeah, but it's still scary.
Of course it's scary. It's a
They're
map.
the best team in the world. They're going to be scary no matter what lens you look at them through. But that's what you got to do, right? You got to look for those little tidbits where you can, that you can grab onto and say, okay, that's exploitable, and now how do we balloon that into something bigger? So that's probably the same work that G2's been doing over the previous weeks when identifying their opponents and figuring out how to ultimately come up against them. For those of you League fans, you might recognize that guy on your screen there. That was Kez, the manager for Sentinels, an old LCS player, actually. I had a grand time seeing him in Reykjavik. Maybe it's just me nerding out about
You have some
stuff.
information that we don't have.
What, Kez? You guys don't know who he is? Elite player. Great. He's fantastic. Anyway.
I'm Dash, and I love League of Legends.
I do love League of Legends.
I wonder what champions they're going to pick.
I also love Valorant.
I only play RMs
I've been
and
pretty
TFT.
good after that first day. I've been getting a lot better about that.
I play some TFT while we're waiting for this, actually.
All right, what's your comp?
For TFT?
Yeah.
On this set?
Yeah.
Let me think. What do I want to go? I'll probably go with some Sentinels.
There it is. That was Kismet right there. 6 Sentinels.
You don't play
Just
TFT.
like
You don't
Sentinels
get the-
have 6
okay,
Sentinels.
okay.
Yeah, Zio is not a part of this conversation. all of a sudden.
yeah, first person
She's looking at me like, I have no idea what you're talking
I just gave you the blankest look in the world.
Oh, Lordy. For those of you at home, just a quick update. You see some of the players in the firing range keeping their hands warm while we do get one of those PCs restarted. Just want to make sure that all of the players are working with the best possible tech and in the best possible scenarios. Make sure they're set up for success. And so we will do our due diligence in that regard. Until they're ready to jump into Agent Select, we'll be here with you.
I like that at least we get to see the players' faces because, come on, we're at a LAN event. We do not have a crowd, but at least we need, even if you, Sentinels, we've seen them hundreds of times, but maybe you haven't seen some of the G2 players, so here.
That's a good point. First look for many
Get their
people.
faces, exactly.
I mean,
The face behind all the aim and the strats.
Yeah, look, everyone likes to see Sentinels because they just like the reminder that they are in fact human.
I mean, that's one of the beautiful things about these international LAN events, right? Is where you build, like, heroes are made, right? Stars are built in these kinds of international competitions because we have expectations. A lot of those end up, going to the wayside as we see the firing range firing off on our screens here. Man, I wish I had mechanics like that.
I would like G2 to go on pistols into that shooting range because they lost both pistols, and that is always like pending homework for G2. I don't know what's going on with their pistol rounds, but they cannot seem to get them straight.
It's terrible as well because, if you can't pick up your pistol rounds, especially, you're putting yourself at such a disadvantage when you're actually in the game. So as much as we joke about, they should go into the practice range and practice their pistols. I think especially when they're heading into their map pick, they need to ensure that they are getting those early rounds on the board so that they have that economic advantage, because otherwise they're just going to find themselves slipping.
I think it's a super legitimate call out, especially when you're talking about playing the best team in the world. You need every little advantage you can get, and the pistol round, as we know, is one of the biggest, right? So eking that out, getting that win, and as we generally assume, the second round win to follow, that could be the difference maker. If everything else is going roughly even, the pistol can
take care, because Sentinels eco rounds have been taken.
That is true. The double thrifties from Split really did spell doom for G2.
I also just think Sentinels are just not one of those teams that are going to be afraid when, if they are going up against an anti-eco and they're on an eco or they're at an economic disadvantage, they're not going to be afraid to actually try and put a dent, a dent the size of a freaking crater in that economy.
This is disgusting. This is disgusting.
Oh
I'm
my
disgusted. TENZ, you gotta stop.
Dude,
Miss one. Miss one!
Stop!
Damn you!
Hey, he missed one.
Did he? Okay. He's moving so fast I can't even see.
Not in my monitor.
He fooled me. Yeah, exactly. Oh my
Kellogg's was
goodness.
actually practicing with the ultimate. It's very sick as well. This is what you get from these players. This is something that we're never going to be able to do.
Yeah, far from ever achieving something like this. But honestly, such a cool look, behind the scenes of these players on the stage, keeping the energy up, keeping the fingers warm, practicing the mechanics that people would kill for.
Yeah, well, they would struggle to actually get the kill in the first place.
Exactly, that's the problem. You gotta out mechanic him to get the kill, and that's just not gonna happen, right?
Oh my goodness.
Lordy.
It is always impressive. Actually, it's nice to get to see that stuff, because I think most people know that these players sit and actually play in the practice range, but actually having some insight on what that looks like is not what you're used to.
While we're waiting, and we don't have anything like more to talk about besides we just can't wait until the map starts. Since you guys are not on the desk on the next game, what are your thoughts on Gambit versus 100 Thieves?
I'm concerned for 100 Thieves.
I like to hear that.
I
like to hear that.
I mean, we've had the most dominant series we've seen internationally now in Valorant comes at the hands of Gambit. That alone should make anybody a little nervous.
They're the first seed versus the second seed of an A. We literally have a full day serve.
Oh, I mean, yeah, we lucked out with the series that we have in front of us. But yeah, definitely concerned. 400 Thieves, not saying it's unwinnable, but I do think that they're going to have to step it up a notch. They looked good, but I feel like, at least for myself, when it comes to Gambit, they were hitting all their shots. And when you're doing that to begin with, and then you have the strats and the pacing to boot, where do you find your in for 100 Thieves? I don't know. It's got to come off of a Hiko clutch, I guess, and we did get one of those already.
What are your thoughts?
I think. Wait, who was it amongst our talent who said they wanted to look in Hiko's? Was it Mitch? He said he wanted to look in Hiko's eyes as he promoted. That is something.
Sounds like a Mitch. Sounds like a Mitch thing. Yeah.
I think it's actually really hard to judge because the playstyle is so far away from each other, but also when you look at the game that Gambit played yesterday, they were kind of handed it on a plate. So there are two things to consider from that. A, it's not entirely representative of a really competitive game that they would have to be put in, so the kind of pressure that they might be under is not the same. But B, the fact that they could have a lot of stuff hidden. They could have a lot of stuff hidden because they just didn't need to show it. And I think that makes it hard to judge.
Well, there's a brief preview of the third series to come today between Gambit and 100 Thieves, but we're going to reframe back here towards Icebox once again as these teams gear up to dive into our Agent Selects. Just a reminder of how the first map went. It was split in 13-6 fashion going over to Sentinels. Both pistol rounds, a couple of thrifties, so a lot going their way. So for G2, if they can start off on the right foot here on Icebox, again, put that last map out of your mind, get the momentum rolling, start hitting the shots, and it might just be all they need to push us to Haven and a third and final map in this best of 3.
They definitely have the time to refresh their minds a little bit and maybe not take a walk, but come on, we're waiting for you guys. Stop passing everything. What is this?
What are they? What are they passing?
I think they're the
gum.
Oh, just hand warmers?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah, I did see SHAHZaM like blowing into his hands a second ago, and I was just thinking, I wonder if they know that the reason it's so cold in here is
Don't you
because
do
of
it.
you.
Don't you do it.
Don't do it, dear. Come on. I'm fine. We're in
I'm wearing
and
a
the players are gonna be sweating. We know that.
I'm wearing a crop top,
Lordy.
so I've been shivering in here.
All right, well,
Life is so
whose
hard.
choice
We
was
have a
that?
full wardrobe upstairs. You can grab something.
I got an extra hoodie somewhere I can lend to you if you're cold. Also, we're going on to Icebox. That is so
I don't have to be
perfect.
there.
Exactly.
It is so
No, you have to be there. You need to get in the zone, okay? With this fight, it's actually
right.
know
You
what's going
gotta
on.
feel it, okay?
Yeah.
You can't really play on Icebox unless you feel like you're playing on Icebox. So we're just getting everybody into the right mindset.
I see.
Okay,
All
the
right,
song
well,
switches. That
That's
means we're
how you
going
know.
into Agent Select.
Yeah.
That's
That's how
right,
you
game
know.
man. Let's go.
Alrighty, let's see. We talked a bit about, but I'll re-hit, that we actually expect in many cases to have somewhat of a mirror matchup. Last time each of these
Yes.
teams played this map, the only difference was TENZ on Reyna and Nukie on Raze. We'll see if that's what holds true or if some other tricks come out.
I actually expect the exact opposite. I would like Nuki to go on Reyna, but I feel like he was too comfortable against Gambit playing with Raze. So let's see. First picks pretty okay.
So far, so good.
Yeah. We don't.
Yeah, we haven't got to the spicy part
Yeah,
yet.
yeah. Nope.
This is his spy.
No
Okay,
Exactly.
all right. So we
Okay,
got some
Nuki on
Raze.
Raze. That's something that I like. And now TENZ go on Reyna, please.
Shaz sticks to the
Thank
jet.
you very
That's
much.
called out. TENZ going to the Reyna. It will be Mixwell on the Viper as he played the last time around.
Yeah, and there is no way that Kellogg's does not go for
Kellogg's
it
is
yet.
gonna pick Euro.
There it
Could
is.
you imagine
There it
pulling
is.
the Euro card?
It's exactly what we expected here for Icebox on map number 2. You've heard enough out of us. The players are definitely ready to get in there and do some battle. And I know Hypoc and Pansy are ready for the call.
I don't think you could stop us at this point. We've been patiently waiting. Great fill, guys. Good work on that. But the game is ready, so we can really start kind of hammering it in. But I think looking at the selection of agents, nothing truly jumped out to us. I think it plays to the players we have in the server. I'm not too worried about anything we saw. Is there any key components you're looking at here to be maybe a difference maker for G2? Because Sentinels have come out in my eyes and have set the bar exceedingly high. So where do we look for those small exceptions? Where do we find it?
I ask the same questions now that I did in map 1. As Kellogg's coming online, what's the support system look like? Now, previously, Kellogg's has had a couple of really, really rough performances. And actually, stylistically, we compare Sentinels to ACEND, a team like ACEND. Kellogg's got absolutely shut down. So it's going to be difficult here for him to find value. For me, I look towards Nuki. Nuki has to be the playmaker here for G2. I'll wait and see how that goes off. Zoms, a couple of shots back and forth, actually. Oh, G2 had sent any utility over, but there'll be 3 members stacked up here along lane. Zoms not even entertaining it. We'll give up the space initially. Sick in position as well. Nuki on the other side here. We'll find ShahZaM and TENZ there also.
Yeah, this is potentially tradable on the A side, but we have to look towards the actual site hit that is starting to come on through. So this is going to be starting building up. TENZ has found Nuki, so there was that trade over towards A, but the spike is going to be going down on the other side. So that's now planting Kellogg's. Can he slip just behind enemy lines? No, but he can find a... Well, I thought it was a decent fight, but Zoms is still fighting the good fight for Sentinels. It's a 3v3 post-plant, and G2 aren't in bad spots here. Mixwell, Goldamenta, and Avova still standing, and Mixwell wants to retake that space towards that yellow. Maybe see if anyone's going to slip on through. We've seen enough. That's just a little too much shown. And Mixwell, this is the Mixwell you need to start seeing if you're a G2 fan. There he is. The land beast himself finally starting to wake up here. Good beginnings and maybe a bounce back. Map 1 was not good for Mixwell. This could be much better.
Good opportunity to check in now. Can they handle the anti-eco? That was such a prominent issue on map 1. Again, yes, tick in the box. Pistol round 1, but again, expect Sentinels to come out swinging in this next round. Potentially go a little more aggressive than we'd expect, but I'm looking towards G2 to be able to handle that. What do they put in place here? Nuki again in that previous round, out on an island. He's in that lurking role on the Raze. Did find a kill, but was traded out. So this is a key round here.
Yeah, we have what? 3-4 players towards A for the Sentinel side. You do have an upgraded, if only slightly, TENZ as well. Sheriff just tucked away, light armor as well. There's a follow-up peek, but is Nuki well and truly aware? So he catches ShahZaM, and he knows there may be more. The timing might be just tickling away at the back of his brain, but look at this, Spike's on the way, and he's going to fall away from that. This is all going to be G2's. There is a player deep, but they wouldn't be able to deny the Spike plant at this point.
Well, initially, looking pretty good for G2. No pressure comes through. Nuki's still out here again. Did get a little information on the back of his boombot, but everybody from Sentinels already making their way towards B. Zom's already up on side. TENZ actually going to try and make his way back from Snowman. Actually, the counter wall comes up, create a little pocket. Nuki will find Sick in transition.
Clean.
Will respond as well on site. Yeah, just a couple more to deal with actually. Dapper right underneath. He might find a consolation. Thank God for that one. Yep, 22 HP now.
Revealing area.
What, is he just making sure he got the kill
Just
there?
the recon bolt is just to make sure nobody else is up on
No, you're
Q.
right. There could have been another player there.
Yeah.
Spot on.
It's quite common to see a second just tucked up the top there.
Oh, just crouched.
Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, no BM here, folks.
Talk about consolation. Actually, the consolation is sending a message as well after the kill comes through.
Of course. For those who don't understand sarcasm, you're going to have a rough time here. However, 2-0. This is a good start for G2. It's maybe just a little bit of a confidence boost. Now, bear in mind, some of these players are younger. We spoke about Kellogg's a lot, and he is one of those younger players who do need a little bit of that maybe confidence builder here.
Well, buy round here, looking for Sentinels to adjust slightly on A, right? And again, the indicators are in place. See if Nuki can again find...
Rifle on Mixwell. Nuki has got a tough challenge. It's just deal with TENZ. Mark your man. And he's got Shaz on that side too. Now he's only got a Sheriff. This isn't pretty. He's played this position a fair amount. Same again, but now you can see TENZ has closed the gap this time. Creeping slowly. Does Nuki even consider this possibility? It doesn't look like he has. This looks like a murder scene. Oh, he's heard all the devs here. TENZ is in the prime position, sees one, actually falls away. Doesn't outstay his welcome. Boombot comes in and Coldamenta.
It's a big trade.
Great trade in. This a Mixwell is right up mid. Catching Sick, and now this is getting a bit of a problem. Shaz is on an island. The other two players for Sentinels are not here. But ShahZaM, ice cold, waiting patiently, and has to play this out to perfection. Can't do it. Kellogg's has got his number, and there it is. Site's now open for business, and this can be a huge round for G2 to convert here in the bonus.
Dapper and Zoms
Here.
trying to get something done on the way back in. Kellogg's will actually fall. A little overzealous there, trying to
Spike planted.
hold on to control there, but Coldamenta trades it back out. Nuki follows up. Zoms will fall. G2 go 3 up.
There we go. They're getting fired up, High Park. Here we go.
I was going to say, interested to see actually, even still the hesitation there, and both rounds previously actually, I think both TENZ and SHAZAM have shown presence, right? So they know that officially, I guess, that default is both members being present. Even after they find the kill onto TENZ, they're still very hesitant. They wait for the owl drone, and that's actually a big positive, right? And obviously G2 slipping up and making some of these mistakes where Sentinels are always going to have that contingency in place.
And I love this. You could just see ShahZaM probably talking through how is Nuki still, maybe getting away with this. The presence had there, the swing around on it, like everything that's just happened to them, they're probably a little frustrated by. That's not something we often see. Sentinels, they're normally calm, very collected. Nuki, again, this is his job, this is his duty. He was born to do this, apparently. But he still has two of arguably the best brains and best aims to handle on the other side, and there's the brain removed from one. Shaz is gone. The wrists still in place for TENZ, but he's going to have to deal with that and back away. On the other side, however, Zoms getting ready. Sick. Has he been played in on this, though? Do they know this? Do they check on it? How much can he do with it? Mixwell catching Dapper. And for now, player advantage to G2, and they want to keep it that way. They've got the rifles, and this can get very scary, but look at this position. This is nastiness. Nuki. So many angles to clear. Oh, the first wasn't clean enough for that TENZ. And again, step by step, they're clearing this out methodically.
All right, so once again, cautious in their approach. Sick really up towards rafters. And D2 not overstepping the mark. Methodically clear through here. Nuki actually still catches sight of Sick ahead of time. Actually, some more damage comes through, and Nuki will find the kill. Third on the round now. Spike will go down. Fantastic work from G2 there, and that's the sort of round that we were concerned about from map 1, right? Lauren, again, Nuki in position, effectively taking a 1v2 every single round versus TENZ and ShahZaM. And that's a statement in itself. So, again, looking towards Nuki to be the power player here and already delivering in the first 4 rounds. Thing is, I got to say it, even in those rounds, Sentinels need to kind of stop challenging him at these range because Nuki's going to do this every single time. And if they give him a kill, it's going to spread Sentinels across the map. It's going to create an opening, which G2 were incapable of doing on the previous map.
But this could be something that they've maybe identified, that if they can tame Sentinel's ability to take this deep space, which they're still vying for. ShahZaM on the off, though, is going to be the difference maker. Going to get it, but there's a trade. No! Gets out with his life. TENZ still posted up in position. Tries to fall away off the back of the Lear and leaves Dapper in a little bit of a corner. Nuki pries him out of it. G2 still on the move here, 4v4. How much more can they pressure this? Shaz on the back lines and TENZ. He's just waiting around this corner. Shaz is watching this, just eagle eyes from up above. TENZ gets aggressive! Rings the bell, finds two. Nuki and Avova gone as Mixwell now a 1v4 beckoning, and it ain't happening. Sick with a good closer. Sentinels on the board.
A comfortable response there. First round on the board for them, and again, it's those rounds that Sentinels are willing to do so. With the operator online, they know that they have this advantageous first peak, and ShahZaM gets himself into the position there to stop Kellogg's on the cross, even towards Pipes.
Yeah.
Again, Showstopper completely negated. Desperate for that trade, TENZ comes through with two crispy headshots.
It's nice seeing that aim.
Actually, this first ultimate cycle looking pretty good for G2. Coldamenta one away from the Hunter's Fury. Nuki obviously investing the Showstopper in the previous. Everything else available here. Kellogg's probably going to try this double updraft here to deal with Zombs. Actually did get revealed there.
Here we go.
Does go up to catch it. No, ShahZaM! Find Coldamenta actually on that B lane peak.
He's everywhere. He just shown presence at A that prior round. Now he's over here, keeping himself very viable. But Zombs gets picked off, and that's going to force ShahZaM in a bad position. Mixwell's pressure through mid. Now catches that rotation, that fallback, but Sick now on the site. He needs to live up to that name. Keep control of this. Support's on the way. They've re-garnered that space in middle. TENZ is the one there. Who needs knives when you got a rifle like that? TENZ happy to fall back now. He's done his job. But now G2, where do they take this?
TENZ already hightailing it over. Actually going to get himself into a position on barrel, so G2 have to be disciplined, to be diligent on the way in here, because again, TENZ will always put himself in this one and done spot. That dismiss. And Avova actually kind of solo pushing right now.
Off angles and TENZ. Yeah,
too
sounds about right for a disaster. TENZ going to readjust now. Still pressure comes in. Nuki on the flyby. Going to put it down. It's still a 2v2 here. Keep in mind, Coldamenta has his ult. Nuki, I mean, he's just got a gun and that's normally enough. He's been pulling off 1v2s, but look at this retake positioning from Sentinels. Right around the back, and actually Dapper's quite far ahead here. He's made some good progress. And timing is everything. Coldamenta hasn't considered it until now. Dapper is right next to him. Clears the right side. He's on the left. Coldamenta holds him back as Sick. The next step forward finds him, and now it's a 1v1. Nuki has been god tier over on this side of the map. But Sick's a bit of a legend himself. Taps the spike, falls away, looks for that pixel out of place, looks for Nuki, and Nuki finds him! This scoreline is starting to look real good for G2.
That's actually crazy. They trade headshots and you with just 10 HP remaining, but again, great recovery here. I had a major problem with Avova peeking ahead of the Aldo, and I think Coldamenta actually had his recon bolt available as well, so lucky they're able to still comfortably set up on site there, because again, expect TENZ to do that. He finds that kill in mid straight away. He's the anchor. He's the contingency plan on that entire pressure that's created by G2 on B main. And again, yes, finds the first, gets traded out, but expect him to do that every single time. If he trades, it's fine for Sentinels.
Not forcing a tactical timeout yet. Sentinels still happy to keep going at this. Maybe this is a reason why. Labored from both sides. It's a little weird, but it will be Shaz to find Mixwell. So mid's now open and eyes now removed from watching maybe a push-up. And it looks like the stack's already coming out here. They're well aware. Deeper wall as well. Very interesting to see that one up here. G2 falling slowly away from this.
I think the Viper's bit definitely going to make them reconsider. ShahZaM's actually got the cut-off on this rotation as well.
If they try and step across this, it's such a hard angle to clear. He could be getting away with being the guillotine in this. 3 players around this corner. That's one. It's only one. A second's difference in Coldamenta. May have gotten that kill, but he's quick. And now it's a 4v3. Coldamenta, Nuki, and Kellogg's. The death ball now going roaming.
Take flight.
Again, res available. I'm not sure actually how feasible it is with ShahZaM dying on top of Tube. So you can see G2 actually pausing for a moment here. And whether or not the awareness is that Sentinels potentially try and get that back.
Oh, I like this. That if they catch some rotations here, you're going to have
30
what?
seconds left.
Sova can just keep drawing their attention over towards A, right? Make a bit of noise, see if maybe they can catch some of these players, but you can see that intuition maybe making them question this, and there it is, already going to find the bigger. Nuki's now gone down. Do they expect a second kill? Looks good. Spray adjust, but the trades are so effective here for Sentinels. They've kept themselves in the right positions.
10
And
seconds
we'll just call them in to get to do with this. Spikes deep in enemy territory. 6 seconds left. Have a little go for it. Not going to happen. Well done to Sentinels. Kept composure there. Kept everything in check. And ShahZaM, lovely play up middle.
Yeah, beautiful. And again, you got to credit G2 for being stacked up there, where ShahZaM can't get away with another, actually. He finds the first mixed roll in the rattiest spot I think
So
we'll
ratty.
see all day.
So ratty.
But again, look at Sentinels, the Aldrone just paving the way for ShahZaM to walk through there, find all that space in the early round, and ultimately it gives Sentinels a really good read on, I think, where G2 want to end up.
Yeah.
At least plan A.
Yeah, it gave them great intention with that. Now, looking at the money, though, considering it was, what, a pretty commanding scoreline, the money hasn't swelled for G2. A lot of these rounds have been kept up. And Hunter's Fury right off the rip. Now, I don't know if they actually did get a tag. It doesn't matter. It's set TENZ into motion. Maybe able to get a little closer off the back of the audio cues, knowing that you can push a little bit deeper, as they're going to be having to respect that. And he's already made great work of it. Finding Nuki is the perfect target to pick up.
Especially with the work he's been doing towards Belt on A. No res available, so G2 will proceed as 4. ShahZaM and TENZ on the other side of this once again, and look at the focus towards mid, actually. Is Aldrone going to come through? I don't know, we'll spot TENZ actually up in, tucked up on second level of sight. There's a risk of being wallbanked here, but nothing comes through.
No, he's still fine. He's still alive. He's got Dapper kind of having his back here. Wall goes in. Wants to at least give himself a chance at a gap here, but he's been chipped away at. Now Dapper going to pick up that mantle. Good damage towards Kellogg's, but he does manage to keep his life. TENZ still living in the depths here, unable to quite pop into this, and there's the ult coming out as a response.
G2 fantastic control on site, actually.
Brilliant.
Big swing and a miss. Avova will get the better of him there, and Avova finds a second as well. Sick will fall.
Yeah, now the last 3, where are they at? We've got a couple, or at least one coming around on the flank. That's ShahZaM. Goldamenta up in towards Nest. It's Kellogg's to find 10, so now down to just 2. Zom's down noted, now spotted, does get Kellogg's, but in the meantime, Shaz lost life, and it will be an unfavorable situation for Zoms, and they're going to have to suck it up. G2 are right back into this. That's going to be 6-2 on the board, Hypok. Have we actually got a game on our hands now?
I mean, it's looking that way. This is a fantastic start from G2, and looking so much better equipped, way more composed in this. Than, again, you can say they're not making as many mistakes, but I just think back to that round with ShahZaM in mid. G2 stacked up to mitigate that risk. That's something we just didn't see on Split at all.
You're right. Yeah, this does look like a different side. Haven would be the last, if I'm not mistaken. So
Correct.
I'm getting a little ahead of myself. It's only the first half here. Don't worry, I'm getting a little excited because we actually might have a game here. We might see Sentinels pushed. Because map 1, I mean, if you're not actually, you know, completely hooked on the Copium and Hopium, you're going to be able to see that was a very Sentinels-dominated map. But this is a whole new lease of life to G2. Looking at the likes of Nuki controlling that push-up consistently, setting a tone for the entire match. Shaz and TENZ are now like, well, I guess I'm on Nuki duty. Great. I'm going to have to deal with this every single time. And he will do this every single time. Maybe he doesn't do it one round. Fair enough. They're still going to have to expect him to be there. And now at this point, G2 actually leaning this way. The purchase coming out from Sentinels. 1 rifle and TENZ. The rest, a little shaky, but we saw map 1. That was still able to do damage on Split.
I love this. The way that G2 have to approach this now, it's just stack us 4. Hey, hopefully they can't get us all, right? Whether it be TENZ or ShahZaM on the other end, but actually, look, you're going to send the paint shell across the back. Kellogg's getting very deep towards server here. ShahZaM will fall, actually. Dapper tagged up by that Aldrone. Be a comfortable plant here. Not an awful lot, really, for Sentinels to get back in action. The recon bolt will find 2 tags.
Yeah, it was actually really well done, but bear in mind, the weaponry that came in with Sentinels was limited. TENZ still going to do some work, though. 35 HP was on. Back on up, still sitting pretty now. A 1v3 beckons. It's not going to happen. Goldamenta denies, and G2 starting to stride through this game. They've got some answers here. Where is that tactical timeout? Where is the conversation for Sentinels? Or do they not care that much about this one? Maybe they feel, it's only the first half, we'll be fine. I think they still need more of a buffer here.
I mean, actually, you look at the stats, and there's a slight lean towards Sentinels performing a little better on defense. So, again, if there's any win condition we could take away from previous performances, it's the Sentinels at least keep them in check here in the first half.
They've got to get the last 3 if I think, you know, Sentinels need a buffer. 2 is not enough for me. I'll never get... Bare minimum 3, or I'm thinking it's a runaway. Now, let's see what Sentinels can do there. They're back on the buy, and Shaz has the ult. Now, we saw the last time around, you know, the ult pushing up middle. That was so decisive. Could do with a bit of that here, because right now, G2 have him by the scruff of the neck. Someone's with a little jump peek. Shaz off to the side. Waiting for maybe that jump peek on the other side to come around. While this happens, we see that little bit of a step towards middle, but not too much. This is the start that G2 wants, just to make sure they keep everything in check. No early giveaways, no easy reads here. They bide their time. I'm wondering if Mixwell's there purely off the back of the success that maybe they had off Shaz or someone pushing up mid. This is an interesting little read from them here. Nuki showing, I'm still here. You have no idea where we're heading.
But this is great. Again, just giving that away, and it's up on the platter. Nuki's happy to face that owl drone to give away that information. ShahZaM actually misses the first sign, finds the second. But look, Nuki's so commanding right now. He's keeping 3 players from Sentinels locked onto a site. Rover does have the res.
You will
try and
not
get this
kill my allies.
back up. Yeah, we'll just be behind the wall. ShahZaM can't punish that.
Where's that mid lurk? It's Mixwell who's looking to maybe
left.
crack this open. If he can catch the 2 players rotating, that'd be
look at
perfect.
this.
Let's see what Mixwell can do here, though. He has to catch this one. There it is. Great work from him. And now the other 3 from Sentinels are on an island, but it is 3, and one of them is TENZ. Might be one of the best in the world just on the other side of this. And there he is waiting, Dapper by his side. Guns locked and loaded, 10 seconds. It looks like G2 have run out of time, run out of options, and run out of players. There's the bare minimum. I wanted to see 3 at least here for Sentinels now.
That's so interesting to see as well. Like I said, Nuki faces the owl drone. He's happy to let Sentinels know that he's there, but Sentinels do not falter. Again, Mixwell finds that kill, like you said, and it doesn't even impact the rest of the round because there's no rotation factor. There's already 3 bodies stacked up there. So it's interesting, really. I mean, you can argue G2 kind of victims of their own success there, where Sentinels just like, there's a possibility, Nuki's still going to find a kill, and they're going to try and collapse and end up on A.
Go again, the aggression. Are they going for it again? Nuki. This checklist has worked against Sentinels. Oh, okay, he's got a good idea someone's close by. Reads it. Shaz. So dangerous between the 2 of them.
You can see the cogs turning there for Nuki. It's like, a Boombo's seen something. It's seen something close.
keloqz this time looking to punish. He peeks a little deeper, but it's actually Mixwell being caught in mid is the first blood drawn. Six going to catch that, as keloqz is now going to at least take that long control. After maybe noting that Shaz is over somewhere else towards A, they can actually build up on this, but still no easy way through. Nuki this time now, starting to work towards middle himself.
There.
He stuck behind this wall for the time being. G2 not going to wait on that to come down, actually. And Zoms will find the spike carrier. keloqz unable to trade initially and will get revealed by the recon bolt, so has to back away. The spike in control of Sentinels right now.
That's the big one again, now more time. Last time the frag came in through middle so late. Oh, that's a bit uncomfortable. Maybe could have done more with that, and now he's feeling a little silly, but can he still make it work? Yeah, it looks good! Nuki does find Dapper, but now it's just going to be Nuki! Oh my word, 2 more though, Nuki. Do you still have it in ya? Rez comes in, he can't get it done. TENZ keeps Sentinels on a level field in that round. That was about to get so dangerous.
So unfortunate for Nuki on that page. So the fact that it gets stuck in the door frame, if that just bounces out, I think it forces Sick into a bit more of an open position, potential for him to fall there, and ultimately, Nuki a huge opportunity to just swing out with that showstopper. Those 2 seconds effectively altered the entire outcome of that round.
Okay, up again for Shaz.
Actually, the G2 purchase here, obviously, final round, but Spectres have got a Mixwell on the only rifle here.
Oh dear. Here we go, Nuki! Oh, Nuki! He's just leapt into the arms and he's got the frag onto Shaz! But where's the rest? There they are! keloqz picks up the pace just as Nuki left off. And it's a 4v3. Dapper, Sick and Zoms are baffled, scratching their head! Sick can't quite adjust the spray well enough on the second. And now 2-stand. Dapper and Zoms fired up, trying to get that wall down for a quick bit of vision. But no one falls foul instantly. Zoms finds the first. keloqz. Oh, Zoms is nasty right now. The 1v1. Coldamenta, 8 bullets. Zoms on the other side. Coldamenta, he sees him, he gets him! It's G2 with a solid lead here.
That is not a scoreline I thought we would be looking at here in the first half of Icebox after seeing map 1, but what an insane tempo shift on that. And again, it's to capitalize on that weaker purchase, and it's executed perfectly by G2.
We've got a game, 8-4. For me, the question though is it enough? We know Sentinels can dig deep. We know they've got a lot in the tank. We rarely see them rattled. That's the first time they've been dictated to in a long time, it felt like to me.
I mean, what happens when you poke the beast? What do we see in the second half here from Sentinels? Because, again, we talk about obviously the first half on map 1 and Split in particular. Sentinels were able to run rings around G2.
Yep.
Yes, G2 were able to get away with some, I'll say, uncharacteristic plays and set pieces, but again, can Nuki do the same thing? Can he have the same impact on their defensive half? That's the question I'm asking.
Well, I wonder what questions and answers Sean has for us, because he's standing by to break down something that caught his eye from that first half.
Indeed I am, Lauren. I got 2 rounds for you guys, so I'm just going to hop right into it. So this round was the explosive A take that G2 tried to do, and you can see right here, ShahZaM, TENZ, and Dapper are triple lined up right here. The 2 that are going to aggress, the duelists, ShahZaM and TENZ. So they're going to go along the ropes, and where they're going to end up, they're going to both be on top of pipes. But the angles that they end up holding is what's really important here. Shaz has the aggressive angle to take the left entrance, and then TENZ's job is to actually guard him in case anyone were to push out onto Belt. It's very important that these 2 specific duelists are in these roles because they have movement abilities. The Jet with the dash and the Reyna with the dismiss can both get away from these aggressive positions on the A site. That is why Sentinels loves running this comp. So let's run it through for a little bit here. So what I'll tell you right now is G2 slows this to try to stop any initial push. They have a smoke here right off the bat, and Nuki immediately pops his showstopper and tries to hunt ShahZaM down. Never in a million years would he expect a second player also on pipes, which is why he ends up falling back. He catches a glimpse of TENZ, falls back, and then the round kind of chills out for a split second. Dapper, who actually shot a recon early round, is hiding in the corner. So this is ShahZaM getting that opening kill, TENZ locking down the next 2, and then the round is literally over. So we're going to hop straight into the next round, and let's pause it for 1 second right here. So what I want to draw attention to now is Dapper throwing the same arrow over here at A. It's going to triple ping. That means it gets all of its recon little notices off, and that's a very, very good indicator that no one is around this A site and won't be for quite a bit of time, right? So the rotation will come in soon. But what I also want to show you is the fact that Kelox is right here in mid. If he does something, and he does, but he doesn't catch ShahZaM, so he's going to actually double updraft. So he, from this angle right here, can double updraft and actually see down B long, which is why he's over there right now. He has his Blade Storm out, he's going to double updraft and try to get that pick onto ShahZaM. Unfortunately for him, this wall from Zoms, as well as ShahZaM's location, kind of blocks the vision from him. So Sentinel's 1 step ahead in this regard. So let's roll it for a little bit right now. And this, in my opinion, is the swing round of the entire half. ShahZaM peeks out wide at the perfect time, ends up getting a pick, and then he ends up falling back, and this lurk by midwall using this smoke that we previously discussed allows him to get the trade onto ShahZaM while simultaneously Zoms falls. So let's pause it for a split second here. We are now in this unique scenario where we're in a 3-on-3. Okay, G2 has rolled back to this A site, and they did so after TENZ got a pick into middle. So TENZ actually found this frag onto Mixwell, and that takes all of G2's smokes, all of their controller utility out of the equation. So that kind of filters them into this A site. TENZ, playing the Reyna, again, can play in these aggressive angles that other agents cannot do. He can dismiss out of these angles. So he's playing this one and done angle for most agents, but for him, he can get the kill and dismiss out. So let's roll it for a little bit. He ends up taking out the spike, dismissing actually to this location right here, and Nuki's ability to immediately take the ropes and trade this frag onto TENZ with the drone is pivotal. That frag is actually the biggest frag of the entire half in my eyes because it broke Sentinel's economy. Coldamenta's aware of the flank, and Sick ends up in this very, very difficult 1-on-2 where he manages to get one. Nookie obviously locks it down. This guy's a clutch player through and through. And this round right here shows why these teams are so evenly matched, and we might be blessed with a map 3, guys. Back to Lauren.
Not back to you, Hypok.
Yeah, I can see myself out, actually, Sean, if you'd prefer. Up to you.
Yeah, but again, I think there were some really incredible things broken down there, and that did feel like G2 are very aware of the opponents. They are prepped for this. They are coming into this locked and loaded with all the facts that they need. Now, second half, though, 8-4, it's not impossible. And Sentinels are a team that can do these sort of gaps.
Yes, and I'm expecting them to, again, I use the phrase poke the beast, I'm expecting them to come out swinging in the second half. Set the precedent, set the tone, don't allow G2 to ride through this momentum. They need to stop this early in this half if they want to actually draw the game up and push things further.
Back underway, 8-4 if you're just tuning in. Map 1, Sentinels picked up in quite convincing fashion. However, map 2 here, G2's choice, sitting at 8-4 on the half. This time around, Sentinels now need to show what they're like in the driving seat here. Kellogg's real wide on that angle, but he does manage to make it out. That should be, though, Spike, make yourself towards the side.
Vova is straight down mid, though. He's going to find this 1v1 with Zoms, and actually Zoms going to win it. That's a big one. Kellogg's actually going to try and follow up on this. You can see, though, Zoms still wise to it. He finds a second now. All this control, G2 have to force their way onto site.
Yeah, and no one's letting that happen. Shaz is still looking for those angles, and it's Mixwell. 1v5, not going to happen. A knife comes out. Can North America stop stepping Europe? It hurts.
Who else but Dapper? If we could have placed bets on anybody to get a knife kill on the stage here at Berlin, it's Dapper. Well, talk about stopping the momentum. A knife kill in the pistol round will do that, Lauren. That'll do it.
Yeah, that's the badger. Oh.
Zoms, again, great awareness to find that first. Just keep forcing the
booty
issue.
Cheeks. Just too caked up. Couldn't help it. 8-5. Oh, dearie me. We go again. Sentinels, welcome to the build back plan. Bulldogs out and a couple of Spectres. Bulldog out, should I say, and a couple of Spectres as TENZ taking the space over by B.
Early rotation here from G2. Over on yellow, going to relay that information. And actually, with Mixwell investing the wall, Sick will hit the rotate with the spike here. I think Dapper just going to send across a recon potentially. No, considering it. This is such an interesting read from Sentinel. Again, ShahZaM seeing nothing else on A. They've read this so well.
Incredible read, intuition. Working out very nicely. Mixwell is still close enough to call them over, but they'll be so far ahead now. The site should be theirs. Looking for a clean round here. No Sentinels. And G2, of course, looking to do whatever damage they can. They can take a couple of weapons away, do a bit of work. That'd be brilliant, but you can see them kind of fight up here. TENZ and Shaz in the shutdown, and it's just Mixwell. It's a flawless round as well to boot. It's a Prime Gaming flawless round. And Sentinels have almost closed that gap, so that first buy round is going to be a big one here.
It is indeed. Again, great opportunity for Sentinels to push forward on a bonus. Effectively tie things up. I mean, they win this next one, they come within one round, they get the weapon upgrades. Decent early progress as well for Ultimates and one up potentially to come online in this next round. So that's the start you want. First two in the bag for Sentinels. They're going to heavy lean actually towards B here, and it's only Kellogg's to hold it down for G2.
Big job here. Not an easy one. Utility already coming through. Now he can actually rain death from... Oh no.
Oh no.
The timing. The timing. How is he alive? He's not for much longer. 24 HP just about makes it out. And they want to capitalize. Look at them hounding him down straight in on that one. And the follow-up. TENZ just runs down Coldamenta 2. This is problems now for G2. This is when they're clutching at straws. You're not feeling it now. Rifles left by the side. Nookie, though, picks up the pace and the pieces as TENZ goes down, but the spike is planted.
3v3 Nookie up in top site here, but and Zom's controlling B main and in a position actually to use these snake bites. The lineup set up, Sick just needs to buy a little time here. A little bit of chip damage done, but the wall goes up. They're able to negate that straight away. Zombs finds one with a snake bite. ShahZaM finds the last. Sentinels convert the bonus too.
They're so good at that. They're so good at these slightly weaker weapon rounds. They're so good at capitalizing on any of those errors.
I gotta say it, Kellogg's a little too deep for my liking to be out solo like that. He's out of range, whereas Dash is really a you know, that backup plan to get out of jail free card. Again, the Aldrone comes through. If I'm Kellogg's, I am out of there.
Off-ski. Yeah.
Nice! Tyson, you know that's not my fault, bro.
Okay, no, don't say anything.
Look, we just want to listen in sometimes. It is a timeout now coming in. This is where you got to be very careful with the money, the economy, how this builds back up, the utility, how everything is working through. This is the alt economy even coming in. This is 3 on the trot. Now, it doesn't say much. Let's put it that way. If we're actually talking bigger picture, it's the pistol round, and now they have converted the bonus, which is the scarier part, because now your economy's in the bin a touch.
Yeah, it is. And ultimately here, if this plays out as expected, Sentinels are about to tie up. And to consider that first half lead, but I do want to just come back to that. One of my biggest criticisms the other day when we saw Kellogg switch onto the Sage is him being put in that kind of anchor position to be self-sufficient, right? To be able to peel away in the correct scenarios. That's not a good indicator. That previous round alone is not a good indicator for me in terms of Kellogg's ability to just find that information, not want to find a 1-for-1. Because even there, if he drops down off the box, right, finds a kill, what does it mean?
I mean, I think this isn't the first European jet that's struggled against North American teams either. Roll your mind back to Reykjavik. Durka. He got tamed on this, and he found it very hard to find that space that we had famed him for. And again, it's very difficult. They are very, very good at locking that space down, but I agree with you. I think he overstepped there, got a little punished for it. See if he can pull himself back up, get that head in the game again.
That's the big question, actually. As a confidence breaker, you don't want to see that so early on in this half for Kellogg's, because again, coming back online, and we've talked about already how G2 were able to build around him. It's a shame to see this snowball for them. Nuki this time going to pick up position on B main. 2 members of Sentinels actually just tucked down in towards Garage. Now a much slower approach this time around. No utility other than the Aldrone invested here, and I don't think Nuki is spotted exactly where he is, but the boom bot and the paint shells, obviously the presence is noted.
Yeah, Nuki is going to fall away from this one. Coldamenta still trying to work on something, less to lose I guess in that regard. Bit of a tag, and actually the re-aggress from Nuki.
Well, it's interesting, 3 bits of utility shown here, so actually 3 members of G2 accounted for here in the early round.
And now the take on the space. Nuki is up top, and loses the fight. Sick, gets him, and there it is. Cracking open, that's all theirs. And the rest of the map becomes not necessarily irrelevant, but very far from the point. That spike can be ferried on over really easily now.
Well, we've got to respect the wall here, and actually Dapper looking for damage in between. Kellogg's actually finds him.
Spike planted.
Swing out here. Sick low HP, but actually, yeah, Voba picks that one up actually.
It's just the rest though. I just don't see them making errors, and of course TENZ just sitting on an angle like that makes sure there's no chance in hell. Sentinels, 8-8.
This is the thing, like I said, Sentinels just sit there. The slow orb, the paint shell, and also Coldamenta spotted with the Aldrone.
Yep.
Again, that's 3 members of G2 accounted for, and I think actually on the back of that, G2 are like, oh yeah, there's no way they're coming in. Sentinels just sit and wait, and actually they're waiting for obviously that recon bolt to come through, which I gotta say, I don't know if Coldamenta was caught on a reload or what, but he needs to be baiting for Nuki there. He needs to be the one to deal with that recon bolt.
Yeah, looked a little out of sorts. Again, this is pressure time now. This is stressful time. We have the buy coming out. 4 on the trot now for Sentinels. Economy in a good spot too. Seeing around like 5.9 on Zoms, 5.5 on Shaz. I know you see it too. We do have a timeout, it looks like. There it is. A lovely technical. Who doesn't love them? So, does look like Kellogg's is going to go for that op. Now I wonder if this could be a big influence, or if it's already being considered, and what the different look from Sentinels will be now.
Yeah, we don't see initially where he's opting to position, but again, he has to be able to pick up the slack elsewhere. If G2 want to really secure one side or the other, or fight for that mid control, Kellogg's is the one that needs to hold it down now with the operator, and in a safe position.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see is him really being in a position to kind of receive that information if Sentinels do decide to force through, or at least spy other things like, you know, obviously the Aldrone coming out. Maybe the recon bolt going one way or the other, even just the Viper utility being invested, but have to wait and see.
Yeah, just if you are wondering, it was, I think, just a little tech issue with G2, so hopefully their keyboard gets fixed up and, you know, no further issues occurred. I've never seen people break their keyboard so often. It's amazing.
No.
I was always questioning it online, but maybe they truly do just run through the gear. Absolutely smashing it.
We haven't seen a desk slam yet, have we?
Oh, I really want one of those.
I really want to see a good
solid
desk slam.
Like, they might get fined for it, but it's kind of entertaining.
What do you think the splash on the stage is when actually we have a
desk
slam? We've got a text package for that as well.
Table broken. Just Hulk smash. Yeah, we haven't had that yet. I mean, it's still group stage, right? Like,
there's still time.
Yeah, it's a long tournament. Okay.
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh,
was that
right.
daydream or was that like intense stare across the Sentinels?
Not sure. Not sure. The Vova. Look at him. Barely blinking. This isn't for me.
Not sure how I feel about this one.
Not for me.
Yeah. Who's down there? Who's down there taking that camera?
Who's doing that?
Somebody's about to get exposed. Oh, there he is. Yep, just in the corner of the screen.
Exposed. Yep. Who's doing that? Yeah, not. Yeah, he's loving it though. Yeah, good shout. Thumbs up. Does that mean we're good to go? Or not sure. Not certain. Oh, we love a good tech pause, don't we? They do it for us. They made us a whole graphic package.
I did hear that in my ear, actually. Yeah. This one goes out to Pansy.
We're all good to go. 8-8. Jumping back on in, no worries. Let's look at that op. Quick reminder, if you zoned out for a second like it looked like Avova did, keloqz does have the op out in play. So that's something that could be different, and that is it.
Finds it there. The wall comes up actually on the outside of the tube, and keloqz will actually run it. Okay,
keloqz.
Sticks the res there. Coldamenta will respond. Avova over towards B will find ShahZaM.
Look at this guy. He's just gone, guys, the entirety of the space is clear. I've got middle, I've got everything you need. Just keep focusing on that B side. He's taken all that space and controlled it. The 3 players from Sentinels now are essentially noted. Every single one of them is known where they're at. So now they're going to have to fight basically back to the wall out of this. TENZ, how much space can you get them? Swing on it. Okay, that's not bad. Second Dapper takes down the front line. This is no problem. Coldamenta doing what he can. But now it's a 2v3. Anymore. TENZ is still working forward. This man will put the weight of the world on his shoulders for his side, but there's a player close by. Sees keloqz, expects to swing from Coldamenta. He reads him so well. TENZ is just going God mode. And now the 2v2. He's working out every single... Has he just read Nuki's position? But the timing is just off. Nuki does him by a second, and there it is. Safety found. And a sigh of relief as TENZ was about to tear him apart.
G2 put their first round on the board, but TENZ, man, you can never count them out. And he reads that perfectly.
He almost had Nuki too.
The operator shot comes through from keloqz, and he knows that the counter peak's coming through from Coldamenta. This opener, beautiful stuff here. I think Zomzatsi has an idea that something's coming. Oh, what a fascinating round, but they nearly got it done. I think just a little mystery from TENZ. I think he was potentially coming from a completely different angle there, so Nuki gets the second seemingly for free. ShahZaM with that operator online now, Lauren.
Okay, next step, back and forth we go. keloqz had his out, right back in it, Shaz.
They're brute forcing it.
Yeah, it looks like Mixwell, though, he was not really ready for that. It was a bit of a, I guess, a lazy-ish clear on it. It outdone and then some in response. You can see all the ults coming down, and they actually both connect in the end. Coldamenta did find Sick, even at the very last go of it, which actually gives the player advantage back over to G2. Oh no!
Oh, Coldamenta and Nuki swing on the back of that Owl drone. It's left to Zoms and ShahZaM here. Zoms with a Viper's pit of his own, but right here it's going to be difficult. I mean, needs another kill in order to get that online, but the spike tucked just behind serving. keloqz will find one there. Zoms will trade one out, but 4 HP, just a matter of time. Avova comes through. G2 put themselves 2 ahead here in the second half.
They bounced back. They found that little bit of rhythm here, 10-8, as you said. This was the first couple they've strung together off the back of an actual timeout where they were discussing what was happening. We saw that op coming out for keloqz. Whether it be that or just the adjustments off the back, it is working. And now on the other side, we did see the op for Shaz, but now luckily, you know, not luckily, but just well considered, he still have the knives to fall back on, so his economy will be just fine. outside of that, 2 now, double digits. This is game on, Hypok.
It is, and this is a pivotal round. 3,300 left in the bank for Sentinels as a whole. ShahZaM going to ride through the Blade Storm. Kellogg's will face the Owl Drone. And again, Sentinels looking to force the issue onto A site. Mixwell called upon once again.
Caught out last time, needs to do better this time. I want to see how he approaches this. Kellogg's looking after a lot of angles here. This can get incredibly dicey. Still looking for it. And they're now encroaching on the site. Spots one, can't find it, needs to back away. Spike coming down, we're in post-plant territory.
Kellogg actually will respond with a Blade Storm of his own. Viper's Pit invested on site here. Sentinels looking to secure. Actually, Nookie wins a 1v1 with Dapper on the flank here. ShahZaM, he's found a second, Lauren.
Nookie just straight up clotheslined him, and now a 5v3. This retake looks like it's got legs, but TENZ still stands, so I won't run him out just yet. And diving on in. Oh, out of nowhere, Sick just gets surprised. Just didn't expect Kellogg's, and now we're down to just TENZ, and he's fallen. It's going to be 11 on the board.
What a response from G2. Again, remaining composed. Everything stacked against them in that round. The Viper's Pit setting up such a stranglehold on the site there, but Nookie finding 2 insane kills on the flank to open up this retake.
Against the ults as well from Shaz. Oh.
Enemy remaining.
We got a game. We actually have a game.
We're getting closer and closer to a death slam there as well.
Yeah, it was getting there.
Sentinels looking, seems as if they're scrambling for answers here. Again, another round where they just try and send it at A. And like I said, Mixwell, a little fumble in the previous, but this time G2 holds strong.
Oh, Shaz. Dangerous games. Look at Avova's deeper push as well. He wants to take back that territory. Keep it somewhat in G2 favor.
See the wind in G2 sails now. They're looking to be a little more proactive, a little more decisive in some of these rounds. A wonky purchase here on the side of Sentinels. TENZ on a Guardian, Sick. And that Spectre. Kellogg's there, will open things up with the operator though. ShahZaM falls. Kellogg tries to dip back in again for a second.
These peaks from Kellogg's, man, are dangerous, but maybe feeling himself. You can see as to why. Just going to keep trying to be stylish on the 20 HP, and he's still going. That's 3. And more Beckham, but Coldamenta's got his cross. He's got his buddy in arms, and Kellogg's finally falls, but the rest of G2 are right here as Dapper left amongst the bodies of his teammates. So few options. Mixwell watching the back. Coldamenta, the first man forward. It's going to be 12 now, 1 away from map 3.
This is insane for G2 to respond like this. After dropping the first 4 rounds of this half, they've responded with 4 of their own. And Sentinels now tapped out. Kellogg's finally honed in, finding these shots when it absolutely matters for G2. And this is the sort of thing, the confidence building for this young man.
We said at the very start of this, G2 have to awaken the beast that's been laying dormant since the very early days of Valorant. That name came with a lot of weight to it. It dipped away for a while. This could be the resurgence, and that's the start. Kellogg's already getting off to a cracking beginning. Nookie to follow. This is looking like they're about to put a bow on it for at least this map and get ready for that third. Can imagine a better way to see these two giants clash, but there's still Dapper, Sick, and TENZ. But A is just looking closed for business.
Absolutely. Mixwell again in the position. TENZ will actually find a response. Of over though. They're in position. Look at that. Kellogg's with another 3-piece to close things out. G2 13-8 on map 2 here, Lauren.
We're going all the way, all 3 maps. G2 living up to all the talk, all the hype they have turned up after what was a disastrous map 1. They are right back in this. You can see it. Every single one of them is fired up. And Sentinels, you don't often see them without an answer.
No, it's seemingly actually there straight away from that pause. G2 came back in with a completely different tempo, and it worked for them. It's so good when you see them, again, effectively get slapped down in the first few rounds. It's fair to say that, again, with the bonus conversion coming through, I mean, where G2 pulled it out from, it's actually insane to me.
We haven't seen them look like this. They've been in the lab. We saw them at the very start of, trying to make this run, coming into this season, looking like, oh, okay, maybe one of the actually weaker teams in the EU or the EMEA coming through, but the prospects, the ones to watch. There we go. See, it's all banter. It's all fun and games. But again, their story arc, we didn't know what their peak would look like because we hadn't seen it yet. It was still building, these newer players still finding their form. And if this is just a glimpse of what's to come, it ain't a bad start.
This is a massive achievement as well. Sentinels, again, I think the only time they've actually dropped Icebox in recent time was the Sonics, which was a very uncharacteristic performance on both sides in terms of that matchup. So for G2 to come out and do this here, where we've seen them really fall short against teams that, you know, stylistically match up towards it. I think back to that ACEND series where they got absolutely swept on Icebox. So this is a huge statement to make. We're coming out, we're forcing map 3. We've actually got a series on our hands here, Lauren.
Haven is up next. I am so happy that we saw this. Like, I think all of us were kind of expecting a bit more of a one-sided affair, and it's been anything but. This is the perfect start to the NA-EU rivalry, already building here, but it's still group stage, and we still have another map to go. We're going to go to a short break, and when we're back, map 3 will be up next.
Welcome back to Masters Berlin, where G2 just became the first team to hand Sentinels a map loss at a Masters event. And what a way for them to do it, Kakuka, putting 5 rounds together in a row on the back half to wrap it up.
It was amazing. It looked like everything it was going to change, and then they were like, okay, you know what, you have to lose. I'm really happy of how they do it. I really like how G2 structured their attack. So much pressure with so much utility used in the exact perfect moment. I love this map. I'll watch it again.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the things that I brought up in the pre-game was that one of G2's really big strengths is their trade potential, and I feel like that was something that we just saw in droves on this map.
We saw that. We also saw the first pistol round win for G2,
yes,
which was
nice.
something that we
Thank
asked
you very
for
much
as well. So
they did lose the second one.
They did lose the second one.
Give them
and that's what made it look a little scary when all of a sudden it's evened up at 8-8. But as you see from there, after the tac pause, that was the turning moment for G2. Tac pause into 5 rounds in a row. Nukier continuing to perform incredibly well, but for me, behind him, Kellogg's stepping up.
Yeah, and it's like Nuki was the godfather for Kellogg's. He was underperforming a little bit on Split, and he was like, you know, just hold my hand, especially on the defense. It was like, hold my hand and just come with me. We're going to smash some faces.
Yeah, I mean, even just in those last few rounds, especially, what round was it? It was round number 20, where Kellogg's was present on yellow, facing down green. You got 4 players of Sentinels coming at you, and you know that all these players are coming. You're basically on your own, and he still stood there, got every single one of those kills. Conal Dementa jumping in at the end, gets a couple.
This is the one you wanted right here.
Oh God, it's just brutal.
Yeah, brace yourselves. Incoming 3K. I mean, you can tell Sentinels can't figure out. You know, at this point, he's 20
HP,
right?
and he's like, let me
he
go for one more. I have one more bullet on the magazine. I need to use it.
Not the case. That is a confidence booster right there. That's what you want to see out of a young player stepping onto a LAN stage. Excited by all means to see that we are going to a third map and that G2 was able to push us there.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we said Haven. Haven is fun to watch for Sentinels, but I am after that G2, I think I'm excited to see, because, you know, G2, I think, they've been very emotional in the first map. They seemed very downtrodden on the rounds that they didn't do so well in. That map, they were just riding with it, and I'm assuming that Haven's going to be the same.
This is the G2 that you and everybody have to be scared of. The G2 that is comfortable, completely different. Mixwell, there's no point in comparison from Mixwell on Sage than on Viper.
An incredibly exciting matchup. Just received word that we got Sean standing by with a little bit of a breakdown to figure out how G2 ultimately overcame Sentinels for the first time at an international LAN.
Yeah, guys, it's absolutely insane because G2 looked phenomenal right there. The duelists on G2 were the only players on their team to get entry frags. And that's pretty standard when you look at teams that play Sentinels, right? So I'm going to show you why it is so difficult to get any entries against a team like Sentinels. And I decided to use the eco round for G2 to just show why it's so difficult to upset Sentinels on a round like this. So right off the bat, what we're going to see is the Viper wall going across B. That's pretty standard. You know, the smoke, Zom's about to throw the Viper orb into middle right here. That's standard as well. But I want to draw some attention to how they're getting map control with both Dapper and SHAZAM as well. So what you're going to see is Dapper is going to throw a recon on that wall. That's going to allow SHAZAM to know that no one's pushed up. He's going to take control of this A lobby, and the round is very slow. So let's start running it right now. So it's a very, very slow round. And I'll explain to you why it's slow. So what Sentinels is trying to do is basically control vision in all of this area of the map that I have boxed right there. So you can see they're just staying very, very passive. SHAZAM at the top of the screen, and then Zoms is holding middle. And by Zoms activating the orb, we've talked about it before, it requires someone to be aware that he could push that way, under tube, as well as up tube. So he is doing a lot all by himself. SHAZAM being here means that there has to be someone on A, right? Because they have no aggressive info. They don't know if there's, you know, 3 people right here. G2 would have no idea about that. So they have to respect the fact that there could be an A hit coming. And Sentinels knows that because SHAZAM is here. And Zoms knows that no one's mid. So Zoms also knows someone must be mid. This is how a default is properly run. And you can see Dapper uses his utility perfect. They break the initial recon, they break the initial drone, and they wait for Dapper's second arrow to come in. And the execute on B long happens at that point. It is so rare that 2 Sova arrows are used on the start of the round before an opening. And the way Sentinels plays this so passively and doesn't allow, you know, Nuki to get that entry on top of B container just is proof as to why they are a world-class team. So I hope this taught you guys something about like how to play passively, and I want to hear what you guys have to say back on the desk.
Very much, Sean. Very cool to see. I mean, I think that if anything, that to me exemplifies why it is so impressive that G2 was able to take down Sentinels, because when Sentinels is able to pull out rounds like that you wouldn't normally expect them to pick up, that's exactly that kind of X factor that we're talking about, and shows you what a mountain they are to overcome for a team, for any team, really.
Yeah, for me, I actually remember on that specific round, I was sitting here, I took my headset off, and I could hear what they were saying. They're very loud, I would say that. I'm closer to G2, and I can hear Sentinels better. And just hearing them talk methodically about it, be like, right, we're sending out our drone, wait here, I can see, and they're just saying exactly where these players were, and it was like, wait for the dart, now we go. And it's just, you can tell it's so structured in their comms, and for G2 to be able to overcome that. Now, I'm assuming their comms are structured too, but for whatever reason, I can't hear them. They're probably mumbling amongst themselves. Yeah, I think it really does exemplify that.
I also think that I don't know how that is going to apply to this Haven. I really like when you are very cautious with your utility, especially with the Sova, all of it, not only the shot, there's the drone, but also the recon. I think the timing is very important and specific. And now that we're jumping on to Haven, I mean, you're going to probably use a recon at the start of the round just to clear up, I mean, some pushes or stuff like that. But at mid-round, that's when you're going to save it for the last part.
We wanted it. G2 gave it to us. A map 3 here up against Sentinels, but it is Haven. And Kakuka, you said at the top of the day, Haven for Sentinels is in some ways some senses exactly where they want to be. So it'll be a question of that momentum for G2 coming off of 5 straight rounds into the initial pistol here on Haven. Can they lock it up?
You want to talk about pistols?
I mean, you brought it up, and I feel like it was part of their success.
Let's talk about G2 and pistols. They won this map, Haven, the other day against F4Q. They lost both pistols.
All right, well then maybe they don't need them.
But we have to say, this is a vote we're coming back on the Astra. This is something that I love to see. I think that he was brilliant and the kind of pressure that he was creating in all sides of the map. They're going to start attacking. I feel like this actually favors them. So let's see how they do, even though, as I said, I think the Sentinels is going to get this. But yeah, I'm up for a duel.
I like that you brought up the Astra, though, because I do think this is going to be the map where we see a number of changes when it comes to Agent Select.
Yeah, quite possibly. I mean, again, this is one where Sentinels, they've gone for a number of different compositions of late. I mean, the main core will be an Astra, Jet, Phoenix, Sova. Most likely, it's about whether or not they decide to bring the Killjoy or the Cypher. Killjoy having been the most recent for them. But for me, it's really the Phoenix that stands out, mostly because you just don't see that come out from other teams, like, really on any map at the moment. But the way that Sick can use the flashes in the Phoenix to help facilitate himself, it's just fascinating.
I remember how many teams did that, the usage of the Phoenix, especially on Ascent, but I really like it on Haven. And as you were saying, we saw it on the Decoded, where Pansy was just guiding us through that beautiful round from Sentinels. And I feel thank you very much, Sig, for giving back that Phoenix.
Of course. Well, Dapper has decided to go on the Cypher instead of Killjoy, so they've taken a step back.
I'm happy. I really like Cypher better than Killjoy, and especially on Dapper.
I'm a fan.
It gives me Nats vibes. You know?
Not everything is about EU.
Oh, well, I mean, everything is about Nats times.
We've got the 2 best Cypher players in the world at this tournament.
There has to be a comparison between Dapper and Nats, because they're fighting, as you said, Dash, for being who's the better Sentinel out there.
I just want to say, I know Gambit's not EU before people get angry at me.
I mean, EMEA.
All right, we asked for it. We got it. It's map number 3 between Sentinels and G2. You don't want to hear any more from us. You want to see some gunfights. Pansy, Hypoc, take it away.
Well, yeah, we are now moments away from getting to map 3. I don't think many people thought we were going to go this far, quite genuinely. This has blown us out of the water so far. No,
and important to note, the end of that previous map. I mean, we look at the previous series that G2 played. I can hear a lot going on behind us right now.
Real rowdy.
But Kellogg's was absolutely pivotal to their success versus F4Q. And again, with that and into Icebox, I want to see him continue that pace, carry that across now to map 3.
Roll your minds back. Fnatic against Sentinels. The last battle between NA and EU went down on this map, and it's where NA destroyed EU. But there were moments that Fnatic found. Can G2 muster a little bit of that brilliance to bring it back through here to maybe reset history? We'll find out. For now, we're live into this one. And things are all going swimmingly so far, but back in the site, the first battle. Kellogg's going to find one, but ShahZaM is right there, as is Dapper. It's a 2-for-1 trade-out.
Oh, actually, straight away, G2 call an audible here. They're going to try and drift through Garage towards C. Coldamenta can't get lost with that spike right now. Avova trying to find space elsewhere, guarantee this entry. A little bit of damage, actually, to force Zoms away, so G2 will be able to pick up control initially. Actually, Coldamenta hesitant to plant here, and look at this stack
so
up
good at
here.
this. Hold on, Avova really has his moments on this map. Oh, just had to hit the reload, we did so much damage, but now just Coldamenta, a 1v2. Mixwell did find Shaz, now Coldamenta, the timing, he's dead! TENZ on the swing! Sentinels start things off with the first round.
It's so close there. I don't think the fact that Coldamenta, I guess, pauses for a moment gives Sentinels the opportunity to stack up there and play the numbers advantage on the way back in. Avova call upon, but seemingly out in no man's land with a frenzy there, can't even convert the damage necessary to make sure. But again, what a flip here. Kellogg finds the entry. Sentinels will spawn with 2. Again, just the timing on that reload. Coldamenta only had 2 bullets left. So Sentinels strike first. Nothing invested here. Actually, 1 sheriff, 2 sheriffs at the very last second here on Mixwell and Kellogg's.
Love seeing a Phoenix play. Quick little pop flash. Sick eats a fair amount of it, though. Gonna peel himself away as much as he can. And there's TENZ. TENZ and this weapon, man, it really seems to suit well together. Falls instantaneously away. Deeper angle now. Let's see if anyone's gonna try and slip through. He's gonna hear these steps. 2 coming his way, 2 through short. Another found. TENZ is farming. That's 3. How many more are you going to get, TENZ? Up and over? Go on, buddy. Yeah, why not? TENZ just flexing now.
The budget operator doing work for TENZ there in round 2. Again, good progress as well towards that Blade Storm early on. G2 now called upon in their buy round. Don't want Sentinels to build up any buffer in these first rounds.
3.
Looks so easy. Now we'll have to see how G2 approach this. Again, I'm looking for fast hits. I'm looking to find these opening duels. Again, with Coldamenta on the sky now, Kellogg's has a little bit of support around.
Well, look, I've loved Mixwell on that sky before, but you know, Coldamenta just as good with Kellogg's. That combination, that 1-2 that we get to see. And TENZ is still looking to be integral this round, leaning a little bit more proactively down middle. Taking that little bit of a risk, but not much. Still able to obviously move away. Probably mobile. Kellogg's likes being seen. Happy with it. To give him maybe a notion of intent. And there are now 4 players leaning this way for Sentinels.
Indeed, happy to give up C, at least with Zoms over in Garage now. No utility there to really give away any indication of G2 pushing forward, but Avova now starting to explore Garage. And again, G2 desperately scrambling to find some information, but Sentinel's giving away nothing. Nope. I think Dapper, is tucked in here, but ShahZaM's the only utility noted here. I think on the side of G2, ShahZaM's the only thing that they've noted.
TENZ is still waiting. He's not moving. He
does
have
Dapper in as well.
Dapper, exactly. Just down in that pocket down below. Turns the flash a little early, but Dapper's still just fine. Gets one on Nookie, can't follow up. Good trade for Coldamenta there, but the problem is ShahZaM's right here towards Kellogg's. This is now a problem. It's not feeling so good. Avova outdone by ShahZaM. This is the bonus, so you're meant to be working towards. Mixwell can't do it either, and it's looking disastrous now. G2 will be unhappy with that as Sentinels will be grinning ear to ear.
They post around 3 survive. Again, Sentinels now with a huge opportunity to pile on the pressure. G2, again, whether or not anything is thrown back into this one, but again, just the setup there. Dapper baited in perfectly by TENZ. Again, they're in position so quickly to stop any of this pressure that G2 are trying to mount. Again, like I said, it's G2 scrambling for something to be the green light to hit somewhere. Sentinels give them absolutely nothing.
No, you don't get given much in this, and it's very hard to dictate the pace towards Sentinels as well. There's a reason they're exceedingly good at this map, and of course this entire game. Now at this point, TENZ brings out the big boy instead of the the knockoff So he'll be just fine. Sitting towards A, he does have Shaz just by his side as well. And of course, on the other side, we have the Shiko coming out.
Love a Shiko.
Can't get enough.
See if G2 can get anything going here. Colamenta straight away.
Spike down.
Shut down on that swing on window.
Going up.
Sick will peel away. Again, the spike noted now at least. A good indication as to how G2 are set up. Again, Sentinels just holding strong here. Avova actually spotted out on the way through. Dapper and Zom's called upon now, but again, Sick finds Avova. G2 just not being given entry anywhere at all, Lauren. Sick now again. Facing down the last two members. We'll find the first chemical trade, but not much else to get done. Zoms will clean things up.
Very clean.
Well handled by Sentinels. Again, just not allowing G2 to punish the or even damage the economy, I should say. Sentinels now with a huge financial buffer, especially with that operator online, the Blade Storm as well. I think potentially online for TENZ as well.
Now, you were saying that they need to find a way in, because Sentinels aren't going to give them. We've seen this already. It's quite clear. Sentinels do not play an overly easy game to read into, to get picks on. Everything is very well considered. Now we have to look at G2, and the conversation I'm sure they're having now is, well, how do we find our way in? How do we start dictating the pace?
Well, my concern becomes actually when Six starts getting his ultimate online, they can get a little more proactive in some of these rounds, and it's going to catch G2 off guard, especially if they're happy to sit as deep as they are. Like I said, they can't really gather any information in the early round because Sentinels being so disciplined. And I think actually, talking specifically about Sick, once he does get online and once that ultimate's available, expect there to be a very, very strong support system in place. Again, look to ShahZaM, look towards TENZ, and obviously then Zoms as well on the Astra. These set pieces on defense for Sentinels are so clean.
So what you're telling me is there's not an easy way. If anything, it gets harder.
There are none.
Great. Cool. Well, let's see what Niels can come up with behind them. Because 4-0, they do need to find a bit of an answer soon. This is what the timeout is here to address. 'Cause these rounds haven't been that close. I feel like they haven't even really been able to execute on the sites. They've been struggling to have that ability.
Well, the thing with G2 is well, we know they lean away from these kind of choreographed, like
set pieces.
Set pieces, and again, that's why it almost relies on. Oh, actually, a bit of spam coming through from outside B there onto Colamenta, but it's so difficult to find an opening duel here that Sick will just continue to command garage area. And again here, look, just nothing gained. The other way, you've got TENZ now posted on A-Long. Mixwell there.
Okay.
Not creeping through just yet.
I've got your trail.
Okay, let's see what they do with these Seekers then. They have drawn rotations. I mean, you can put a lot of faith in TENZ, though. He's still pretty solid with that off. But now Sick's going to lean on in. Going to actually get one as well. The spray doesn't quite connect for the second, but Zoms has his back as well. Avova's now gone. Kellogg's looking a little isolated on the side. He needs some support here. He only gets the trade in the end. It's a 4v2. These trades are so effective for Sentinels.
As well, the ability to pause and allow Sick to come through and just bait out that first engagement.
Look how deep these rotations are, man. There's no risks.
Especially with Dapper's utility still in position here. Give away exactly what's about to happen. There you go, Mixwell will actually hop into the first. Lucky will remove the second.
30 seconds left.
Actually, Hunter Fury comes through. Dapper will find a kill anyway, but Lucky called upon now, and again, G2 just cannot find anything here versus Sentinels. And again, the thing is, when the rounds play out like this, they don't even really get a good feel for initially how Sentinels are set up, and every time just one piece of the puzzle moves, it's then G2 resetting effectively.
Yeah, but this is the beauty of Sentinels. It's like watching an artist paint a picture. They are so good at playing this map. It's incredibly hard to, one, get to the position to even have those executions that G2 don't particularly like anyway. How do we get reads on rotations? And even if they get a read, how do we punish those? You just can't. At the moment, Sentinels are playing an incredibly elevated game. Throw into that, G2's money is now in the bin. It's starting to mount up a little here, but let's see if Kellogg's can maybe offset that. They've been struggling to deal with the TENZ SHahZaM combo over towards the side of the map, and Maybe some more of that to come, but maybe overwhelmed. Who knows? Maybe
Oh
not.
my word.
TENZ brings it down on him, just the guillotine slicing through. Shaz by his side, and now a new position adopted. Double stack towards long as well. They still have so many players always in the right place. TENZ a second away, but Shaz is right there. Puts his life on the line, and it's another round. 6-0, Sentinels. Answering back real loud.
It's actually great. I think that's the third or fourth round now where G2 have only been able to find one.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. I mean, Sick now actually up to 8-2. Dapper now, the ultimate available. TENZ still with that operator. Blade Storm online towards G2. Lockdown. Nuki one off the res, but again, these are very reactive ults here that I don't think G2 really are in a position to lean on with the way these rounds have gone. They're not being given enough to find an opening and then try and secure the round or secure control of any of these sites.
I love that. TENZ just swinging out anti-flash, gets himself into a great position now. But on the other side, there's still Mixwell. But I've seen this man turn a sniper into a shotgun, so don't be surprised if you see it again!
Oh my God.
TENZ does it to him! Mixwell left ringing off of that. What are you meant to do? There's now 4 of them. The first brave step they put forward, they get met by that.
And look at this as well. Sick down C long, so they know that Sentinels can drift away from C. 2 players positioned now to greet this push of G2. Doms and Dapper. Again, there's just no way in. Sentinels perfectly positioned to stop anything here. And the problem being, they're going to come through Garage. All of C-Long control is in favor of Sentinels.
Okay, Dapper, how much have you got here, though? You've got a lot of pressure coming your way. Outdone eventually, but here's the next layer. Sick, holding long. That's a dirty angle to try and clear. It's so nasty. And now his Dom's on the swing through on CT. He does get traded out on, but the numbers are still so favorable to Sentinels. A 3v2. Nuki and Avova. Now looking for that next step. Avova can be good here, but that player on logs is just in the most unreadable position. There it is. Shaz just breaks the back of any hope that G2 are trying to build here. And Nuki, he's done for. Sentinels are putting on a show, and it's a damn good one at that.
And that's a perfect example. That round there of the contingencies in place. Sick gets into a position where actually, even if he just trades 1-for-1 and G2 decide to swing on to long and try and get towards C site, he's in here actually. A laboured spray on the first, got to argue, could have been good for a second, but it's the fact that as soon as Sick's in that position, Sentinels are there to greet either B or Garage. It's absolutely flawless.
So the tank might have run out of gas for G2. 7-0, clean rounds, no opportunities to get in. We argue about the depth. These were the team that came through in pretty much the last locked-in place here. Depth was always going to be the question. How far can they take this? For now, they take themselves towards B. Dapper on the other side, sitting towards the connector on the A side, but it's Sick. Takes himself forward. The spree's a little bit fruity, a little wild, but it's just fine in the end. And again, there is still no hope. There is still no way in. There's no way out. It's just Avova left on his lonesome. A 1v4, a miracle round at this point.
Whether or not Sentinels will even give him one. Nope, Sick slapped Avova down. His 4th on the round. Sentinels 8th on the board. This is where you start getting worried here. Again, lockdown still available, not called upon in, I feel like 4 or 5 rounds now that's been available. But again, even here, on this round in particular is the one where G2 decide to go a little more aggressive. And this now, it's got to lean. The tendency now is to play even more passive on the buy round because effectively tapped out here, 1,300 credits left in the bank. Nuki with a revive, Coldamenta 2 away from Seekers. Blade Storm, Cosmic Divide, ShahZaM now with a Hunter's Fury. Sick with another run it back, Lauren.
Here.
This is looking pretty terrible for G2.
It is. Another shot at it, another bite to the cherry. Kellogg's. Doesn't actually hit shows Nuki's towards Dapper that time. Here comes everyone else though. Sick straight on it. Life on the line. The spray good. They get on the first and they're just working away at G2 as they try and step towards the site. A res comes out slowly but surely. Those Zombs now flashed up. Has a problem with this one. It's Mixwell to capitalize as well towards CT. Finally, G2 making some work out of it. 1 on the board.
I said actually maybe the tendency is to play a little more passively. This one they really forced the issue onto C site. Kellogg's leading the charge for G2. Actually Nuki perfectly timed on that swing. Again, you got to credit Sentinels there. It's the ability to back up the Hunter's Fury in combination with the run it back to try and get back onto site, sorry, ahead of that spike even going down. Sentinels willing to fight to the death as G2 come in for that execute.
Do it again, though. You got to do it for the last couple of rounds, right? Like, this is the thing. This can't just stop now. You have to keep delivering in this fight again. Mixwell against TENZ!
No way, man!
Get out of here, TENZ! How are you doing it to him? Mixwell's such a veteran, man. He knows this. He knows in his head he's thinking through the steps. And there he is regardless. TENZ just, he's the boogeyman in this game. You just don't want to go near him.
That's crazy. I mean, it's a testament to just how good TENZ is, but made Mixwell look slow there, honestly.
Which is not. It's not something we often say. Mixwell is so good at this normally. Wow.
Just caught a pixel out of place, but no damage done to ShahZaM, actually. Seeker's invested now. Coldamenta to try and force his way through onto A. Maybe try and catch something here. Nuki will spot out at least one member on B site, but the spike headed towards C. Dapper will be called upon.
Dapper's still here. Not moving. Not giving it away, and now he knows something's up. Two players working forward, one still towards Garage, maybe looking to exploit that rotation would be Nuki. But Zoms is there now to back up Dapper, and Shaz did find Nuki, so that lurk's now removed. Kellogg's and the boys on C feeling a little silly here, not able to make the connection they wanted. Kellogg's is doing the best he can, but I don't think it's going to be enough. No, it's not. And Coldamenta, a little late to the party, but going to take down two. Maybe a little overzealous on the peaks and some curious positioning from TENZ. Still on the backside and middle, just not going to expect it, are you? And tucked in the corner, it's going to be sick, and it's going to be another for Sentinels. This one's looking all but over.
Again, just watch that back. It takes them so long to get up towards it. Then they're posted behind the trap wire. And again, Dapper buys effectively like 8 seconds with those two. Okay, yeah. That's even worse from the other angle. But with those two cages there, buys so much time for the rotation to come through that Sentinels can effectively fight a 3v3 on site before the spike is even close to getting planted.
And a reminder to every other team who maybe thought there was hope, who looked at this going, they've dropped a map. First one they've ever dropped. Maybe they're human. Maybe this is the time to strike. Maybe not. It's 9-1. Up and over. Kellogg's just swats him out the air. TENZ is so just nasty with everything he does. He's still aggressing. He's taking down Sewer, falls away just to get out of the eyes of that dog, and now can re-aggress on it. Six on the flank. He's in the spawn. They're making it hurt now. Just a chokehold on G2, sending him back. This is all but over, Sentinels.
The Prime Gaming flawless. What a setup, and Six so quickly in position to absolutely punish G2 before they can even get the ball rolling.
Out of my way.
Staring down the back. This is so good. TENZ doesn't even wait for the audio cue there. He's already posted. There's not even like a reactionary shot. It's like, Bladestorm was available. Somebody sit C-long with me. I'm holding the angle above. It's crazy to watch this guy play.
Truly. 10-1.
Oh my god.
And the play from Sick. And look at the spam. Shaz. Oh, Sick still going! There's no rest. There's no room for air. This shouldn't be allowed on Twitch.
No, this is absolutely relentless. Finally, the lockdown going to be invested here. And Avova actually will find ShahZaM. I don't think Sentinel's too bothered about the outcome of this round in particular. Zoms creep towards the G2 spawn. Actually coming back in here. Dapper going to find Nuki. Over on the other side of this wall. We'll find another kill. Kellogg's actually flanking on the backside, but Zom's still alive and kicking. Finds the spike, finds a second. Kellogg's will fall. Mixwell, 17 HP in a 1v2.
Not moving a muscle. Sat. Maybe stunned a little at the scoreline, hoping the timing would be offset. Soms hasn't moved that far, has he? I feel like there's a knife or something coming.
Well, Dapper's dead, so it's probably not.
Yeah. I don't know. I've got a horrible feeling. 14 seconds. Clock beginning to rot. Mixwell. Turns the corner, Zoms is there. This is Sentinels sending more than a message, a reminder to EU. This is where Fnatic fell. This is where G2's going to fall, and maybe the group stage. But you don't get past us on this map.
This is absolutely brutal. I mean, at this point, you got to ask the questions again around G2. They're able to close out comfortably on the second map, but it's night and day here. This is Sentinel's stomping ground, and it really, really shows the gap between these two teams.
No, it is a real difference here, and someone who I'm sure will be elated after being obviously very quiet on that previous map. But, oh, God, if only. We've been trying to make him quiet for years. However, someone who will be happy will be Sean. So hopefully he's standing by ready to break down a couple of looks of maybe what surprised him, what made him happy. Who knows? It's going to be essentially a Sentinels frag movie, so enjoy this.
Game's not over till it's over, Lauren, but this round is really sick. So this is a really cool round from both teams that I want to go over today. So let me first draw attention to all the G2 players over here outside long. Oh, wrong tool. So we have all the G2 players outside long A right there, ready to get A control at the start of the round. So let's roll the clip for a little bit. You can see the turret is here, Mixwell is over by it, the guiding light comes through long. And the reason why the guiding light comes through this jet smoke, which actually comes from Kellogg, so let's pause for a split second. So we have the jet smoke from Kellogg's that went right here in A main, the guiding light goes behind it. That puts in the mind of a normal player that, you know, the attackers are aggressively pushing long at that point. But this is TENZ, and TENZ does not fall off of this angle, which is massive. It means the fake does not work. It means Sentinels will not over-rotate. Mixwell is still holding very passively over here at the A side, just in case anyone were to push through, and right away, G2 rolls and plays this passive default setup. You can see they're spread out, and it's going to end up being a garage split. I'd also like to draw some attention to why Sentinels is capable of doing certain things and stacking places. You can see the double trips front B, as well as an Astra Star. So the Astra Star will turn into a gravity well. There's a cage there as well. So B is just a death trap. You do not want to go there on this particular round. And then C, it's a very hard site to hold, especially against pops when you're someone like Astra. So how does Sentinels deal with this? Well, this first Astra Star would activate as a smoke. The second one would turn into a gravity well if there was a C pop. And then Zoms even puts a third star right next to him, just in case there's a hit and he can hide in his own smoke, dodge recons, dodge a drone. You know, he's capable of moving around. Guiding lights won't blind him. Trailblazers can't get him. So he has all this planned out utility. In addition to that, we have Dapper's cam on the wall for more info. Sick is playing Garage on the rotate. So let's keep going a little bit now. And what you're going to see is the Sky is going to use the Seekers to clear out Garage. And that is what's going to activate the start of this round. So Sky is gathering by Garage. She has the spike. And you can see Mixwell still by this A lobby. The Sage is grouping up. And there it is. The Seekers come in. And the Garage split is on. And let's pause it real quick. So what you're going to see now is the Sage has walled window. That means that they can fully focus on this split. They don't need to worry about anything behind them. But also, simultaneously, we have Kellogg's throwing a smoke and dashing into it into the C site. We mentioned this earlier with ShahZaM. The Jets dash in, they get the vision with the dash, and they're getting tons of info. He's following the Seeker. He knows exactly where everyone is. Sick counter ults, and this is the game-changing play by Sick, in my opinion. He ults around this spawn corner, and you can see him right here. This is his ult form. He's a free body to help deal with this hit, and he's a massive nuisance to G2 on this hit. In addition to that, Zoms plays this perfectly. He activates that second smoke that I was referring to in the site, and let's play it a little bit more right now. So Zoms Ness in the site takes out the Seeker. That allows Sick to get that frag on the spike. Sage gets the trade. And Kellogg's is scrambling, trying to get Zoms back site. And he does. But look, Sick has rotated in from back site now. And he is on plat taking Zoms' place. And he has this insane crossfire setup. So now Sentinels is immediately in this 4-on-2. And they're so aware of G2's intentions. Look, they're just rotating all over the place, leaving the C site. They know the C site is locked down. They have a camera there on Dapper, and that's when Dapper's trip hits. And it signals ShahZaM to blind ult into the B site, and the round is over. I think both of these teams played this round phenomenally well. And it just goes to show the level of play between these two teams is absolute top-notch S tier. And I cannot wait to see more of this. Back to you guys, Panpoc.
Buddy, I don't know how much more of it we're going to get. That was, it is a good game, but the scoreline's a little skewed here, Hypoc.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Wee bit.
Yeah.
Tiny
To
bit.
say that this pistol round is crucial.
Woo. Yeah.
Yeah. Should we make some more sweeping statements? You want to undersell anything else, or?
Go ahead this week.
Cool.
What
Well,
do you
they need the.
they need this.
I think they need round 2 to 5.
2 to 5
conversions as well, and then a couple more.
Right.
Because once Sentinels get to their buy round,
But imagine if they did it.
can you imagine?
Don't be biased to Sentinels now.
Feeling area.
Gosh. G2 can do it too. We'll find out. It's 11-1. This is the group stage. Keep in mind, the first time, really, we're seeing this NAEU battle go down, and it has been taken to a third, which definitely caught some of us off guard. Kellogg's trying to catch someone off guard for 6, having none of it. He does not care. He sends him right back like, don't worry, boys, you'll have a break soon. I'll try and get this overview nice and quick. 3 still stand, and the A hit looks like at least being toyed with. Some audio cues given. They peel away.
Vova's got himself all the way to the bottom of C-Long. He's going to hear this information, should pull the rotation from G2, see if he can find anything on the way in.
Oh.
Actually, the trigger discipline is perfect here.
How long does he hold this? Till right about then. Pulls the trigger on TENZ, but now he knows there's another. Wait, what?
He was in Astral form. He didn't hear
no
it at all.
idea. Absolutely clueless, and this gets spun on its head. Avova maybe being the lifeline, at least for a couple more rounds. Dapper, though, first step in, and it's a good one. 40 more seconds to play with. He's got time. He's about to have the spike as well. 35 seconds to make something out of this.
No way.
Now, he's got to know if Avova at least was on C-Long. That's the last call. Nuki hasn't been particularly noted.
Left.
Maybe was on A earlier. Now, 25 seconds. What does he do with this?
Yeah, actually, Nuki's close enough to hear that spy cam activation as well, so he's going to go hunting, but Dapper, meanwhile, has free access to A site.
Now, where would he post plant this? Okay, so the closest plant he can. Does he?
He's to a split.
Slip back to CT? No, he can't.
Oh, I was
okay.
going to say. If Dapper went for the push
Yeah.
there, actually the opportunity
He
to
planted
open
for
this
it.
up. Yeah, exactly.
I thought maybe he'd slip back in for that CT push, but no.
Still going to find a
Opts for
1v1.
Sewer. You're right, he is finding that 1v1. Now he's being encroached on by Avova, who's the absolute difference maker and timing's everything. Dapper now needs to turn, and Avova saved it. He's given them just one breath in this.
11-2. Avova going huge on the pistol round. Again, the timing of Zoms slipping in to try and set up that push onto C. Again, Avova, the balls to pull that off there, to let the first pass, the second as well, and let them actually come up. And the whole time he's relaying that information. He wants the contact to come through from Mixwell on site as well. Sentinels, they're going to throw a couple of bits and bobs into this round.
No, it's not.
Reconsidered, actually. Yeah, just it looked like 3 sheriffs and TENZ, obviously, with that budget operator, but
Why not? Always seems to find a bit of value with it, but Kellogg's feeling bold enough to go for a walkabout. Dapper taking a chunk of damage here. And this should be a free one. It is. Kellogg's going to get him in combination with that Sky utility coming through sewer. It will draw the attention of the others. But TENZ, there's a reason we say there's a value to always him having this seemingly in his hands at very bare minimum. And you can see as to why.
Look at the utility in Garage. Sick decides to push on through ShahZaM. On red alert here, just in case Kellogg's comes through. Sick actually going to note the alarm bot here. That's going to smoke it off, so
Interesting.
maybe have to slip through. This is huge, actually.
Now, luckily for G2, Avova is very, very sharp in this. Mixwell's got his back and the calls are being made. There it is, 4 stand. And they take another step.
Need that back.
Actually, a good opportunity here for G2 to come through, ride some of that lesser weaponry. See, I mean, TENZ only player on Sentinels, I think, to be sat below 1,000 credits on that previous, but be able to afford the light armor and the rifle. Only one on the side of G2, though, and that's Mixwell. To see here, if G2 are able to maintain this, honestly, Kellogg's again pivotal in that previous round, finding that kill onto Dapper, again controlling A lobby, and he's walking with a Spectre. This is bold, to say the least.
Yeah, he's been spotted as well, so needs to fall off that one. But Sick has been so influential in some of Sentinels rounds. Mixwell on the other side here, just trying to buy time. Rotation coming in as well for Kellogg's. Oh, Dapper. Okay. So showing a lot of presence here. That's... I don't know if they've realized it's 2 players. They probably have a good idea now. It might be more than just one. And Kellogg's going to try and sit in on that close angle on that wall side. Mixwell drawing attention towards Heaven, but this is now where it gets problematic. Mixwell's gone down, so Kellogg's is all alone.
TENZ is going to find it as soon as the smokes drop. Nuki now makes his way up towards Heaven. Sentinel still will pause for a moment, just in case G2 consider trying anything to stop that spike going down. A 4v3 here for Sentinels in the post plant. See if G2 can fight back in.
There's the pop flash, here's the push. And TENZ is just something else. The man is just built different. Look at him. Gets up to 12. And the war cries out, if you can hear it behind us. This is not just map point, this is match point, series point. This would be the GG now. 6 had a tear, TENZ has been on today, but everyone from Sentinels has fired on this map.
Absolutely, they've looked flawless through most of this. Again, even the rounds that G2 are able to squeeze out here in the second. So still could have turned the tides. Can actually Mixwell down on a frenzy here because of that purchase in the previous. TENZ already with the Blade Storm online. Aldrone straight away up C-Long. I think actually Sick with the running back as well. They're looking for a full sight here. Look at this coming through from TENZ and Sick.
There's no way to stop him now. TENZ is right on the side. He's going to take down Avova and look for the follow-up, but no one dares walk towards him at this point. He is just truly intimidating here. Now the spike can be ferried across.
G2 actually get ahead of the curve a little bit. A big flash comes through, but Mixwell unable to find anything. Coldamenta will find Zoms. Seeker's invested. Nuki and Sick will find kills respectively. Kellogg's again responds. G2 actually a 3v2.
Yeah, but if Sick and TENZ are alive, I'm still not writing off Kellogg's with a banger towards TENZ. Now Sick, what you got for us? One flash, he swings it early. Kellogg still holds. G2 gonna make it to 4.
Everything but the kitchen sink thrown at that from Sentinels, but I love Zom's reactionary utility there. Again, TENZ and Sick, they come up, they run it back, the Blade Storm in unison, but also the utility usage just isolates this player on site. There's no possibility for anybody from G2 to even swing through and try and save Avova.
Yep. Kellogg's lovely work with that flash coming around the corner. Let's see the link.
Let's fucking go.
Let's freaking go.
Let's go. 8 more rounds, guys. Let's
do it. I love that.
Hey, I want to see it. I want to see it. I don't know if we will.
I want to, though. Yeah, I'm with you. Let's go see how far we can take this then. 4-12 is the current scoreline. It is a mountain. And already, Nuki's found TENZ. So a good start. Still showing this willingness to push at this point. Says a little something.
Sick, though, has all the way onto a site with Dapper. Again, look at this crossfire, though. Mixwell's giving it up, but they are anticipating that exact threat. Nuki will find 2 more, his 3rd on the round. Bombs will respond, but a 4v2 for G2. Okay, make that a 2v2.
Okay, this is not how it happened, surely. From a 4v2 to a 2v2. And the last of Shaz and Zoms this time. Looking like A's the area they're going to be heading towards. Spike in the hands of Shaz. Heading on over. Coldamenta and Avova on the other side.
Avova might have even been heard there.
Oh, look at this. Just a slice, just a portion. Flash comes in. And actually they're pushing it. Coldamenta good for 1. Now does Avova get... Yeah, Shaz knows exactly... Okay.
The read from both of them there.
They both come off it.
Avova delivers. G2 will live to fight another day.
It's 5.
Again, here, I mean, you're absolutely right. For Nuki and Kellogg's to still be this decisive in some of these rounds, it's exactly what G2 need if they're going to make this a possibility.
Even they knew that was just that was a straight up coin flip.
I think Sick was actually anticipating exactly what's about to happen. Yeah.
And we go again, 5-12. The money is broken this time, but hey, we've seen these rounds sometimes go a little Nookie. How many sheriffs? 4. Okay, and the marshal. The G2 should be aware of this. They have to be on red alert. This is not just a walkthrough, just because the weaponry isn't there. It's one of the biggest tells of that first map that worried us. The anti-ecos. This is not how you'd want to lose a series. TENZ spotting out one towards back plat.
Don't show your head.
Bloody hell, he's crossing back over just as the smoke dissipates. Avova, careful, but you've all seen the clips of Avova in this corner, and you might see it again. That's 2 lovely frags. He's up against pistols, though, so we're not going to scream and yell just yet. And Shaz sees the flash. Before he going to lose. Oh, Avova. Keep it chill, mate. There we go. 2 now left. TENZ and Zoms. No opportunities. Well, no opportunities other than that one with Avova really presented.
Mixwell still had the jump again there. TENZ just landing the headshot. 21 HP. Find another here. Kellogg's might actually spot him there. Nope. Avova. Find his 3rd on the round.
6. It's clean as well.
This would be
I'm ready for it.
Pretty interesting spectacle.
What colours do G2 have normally? Like, what's their like shirt colour? It's kind of just like black, right?
Yeah.
Like, a little bit of like red and white. I'm tempted to say I'll dye my hair that colour at this point if they actually do pull it back and win.
I'll dye my hair the colour of G2's jerseys. How's that sound?
Same, I'm with you.
Yeah?
Yeah, we'll do it.
Okay.
This can only go well. I mean, it has been...
Safe for me.
Yeah, I'm about to say, it's not bad, is it? Just salt and pepper. 12-6, though. This is another big round. Buy round coming in. Rifles back out for Sentinels, so they're sat in a much better position. We do have the res on Nookie. Mix up with his ult as well, so the more kind of, I guess, instigating ults. But Coldamenta now, starting to feel things out here. Spots out at least one. That's sick now noted. You can see the creep up on long as well. Kellogg's better be locked and loaded. Coldamenta good for one. Spots out another. Flash comes in. Smoke goes down. Zomzo, great work towards Coldamenta. That's now a problem for Kellogg's.
The neural theft will be popped to the information reveal, but Sentinels look to force their way through.
Timing.
1-for-1, actually. Nookie will find another one in response to the Hunter's Fury popped. Zoms now, get through. The lockdown will be removed. The back of that. And look at that, Nookie and Mixwell combine. G2 post another.
It's
their 7th now.
Now, normally we don't get excited for comebacks until double digits is achieved by the team on the comeback. Generally, the general rule of thumb. I'll give it till 8. I'll give it till 8 and then I'm on board. And then obviously they'll lose that one. It's over and done with. For this...
Looking at the script, actually.
Well, I haven't got that page. Production just ripped it out, so I don't know. We're going off script here. It's mad. 7-12. Money's back down. Now, the problem is, we talk about money. Sentinels will be in this kind of, not perpetual phase, so we'll be able to get buys, but it is going to be that little bit of an issue here and there, but again, still danger aplenty. G2, how resilient are you? That's the big question here. How far can you take this, truly?
Well, the way they're reacting, actually, I mean, again, these rounds are a little unorthodox. Look to TENZ to try and just find an opener here. We'll spot Avova, actually, behind Platt. Over will escape back here, and Kellogg's find Sick on the other extremity. So Sentinels doing what they tried to do on Split, just pull these rotations and create their own gap in the defense. G2 much better equipped this time around.
Yeah. Again, same sort of work leading in through from Garage. You're going to have, I think it's going to be Nookie at the back, watching the pusher in case there is pressure here, but TENZ has actually garnered some space. Spots out one, that's ambitious, and Mixwell this time does get the better of him. Good follow-up. And there it is, it's Prime Gaming Flawless. We're at G2. They are now starting to build up a little bit of hope. Just a little bit of hope. Starting to filter through. 6, not been necessarily quelled. He's on 24, but he has been slowed down in this half compared to him running rampant in the first.
Yeah, which is interesting. Again, you quite often see Sentinels just throw TENZ and Sick into the mix, and more often than not, they're able to find entries. They're able to find actually 2 or 3 kills on the back of that. And right here, as I said, you got to credit G2. I mean, particularly Avova and Mixwell, who time and time again are able to shut down Garage and see sight. And Sentinels sat a little deeper.
Yep.
Kellogg's now posted, but the run it back.
This is
see what he can get done.
Yeah, lovely utility work so far. Going to at least hinder some of that approach through Garage. Forces him to look towards that B site. That's a problem. Coldamenta, Nookie, it's all falling to pieces. Sentinels tearing away that just a flash of hope that they had, and now it's down to Evover on Kellogg's. They know Evover's back here. He's been here every round. He's now surrounded. 1, 2, 3. It's just gonna be sick to shut him down as Kellogg's prevented the impossible before. This time, sick. I couldn't imagine a better player to close it down, and in flawless fashion.
Again, eventually they're able to break through and find that final round necessary, but G2 showing resilience. Again, we talk about the pedigree of this name, this brand, and how often they've actually had to play from behind. Right there, a big positive, but again, bigger picture. You got to look back on that first half and just think, actually, what is the depth to this team on the international stage? Because Sentinels, we have a fairly good grasp on where we place them.
Yeah, we do. I think that's a really fair assessment as well. We know that they are towards the most extreme of tops. Be it first, second, wherever you want to put them. I'd say first right now, generally. But again, if they're being tested by, I guess you could say, 4th seed coming in from EU, that's not a bad look. Now, bear in mind, that final map, the side-by-side comparison, that first half to the second was night and day, but I imagine if they got a little more buffer on G2, could they have stretched it further? But then again, how many rounds did Sick just get them in that sort of explosive style he was bringing? It was actually flawless.
Yeah, it was, and the big difference being, again, when you call towards those kind of usual suspects, and I got to credit Nuki for the performance on map 2. Effectively, I got to say, you got to credit most of this map 3 even being a reality on him and his performance on Icebox. But right here, Sentinels just showing why they're a cut above. They are worlds ahead in terms of the level of Valorant we see. And again, Haven is a map where you talk about being able to run circles around them on split. They employed so many similar tactics at that shot. Again, you've seen that a few times where it's just reactionary. TENZ is just posted, and it's that intuition that Sentinels have where they're constantly, they don't even need to be given the information. They're able to just position accordingly. At least the vibes were good.
The vibes were immaculate, and again, a celebration of both regions in my eyes. We get to see Sentinels come back in, looking as good as when they left off. I think Reykjavik was, if anything, just a question mark of, okay, can they now continue this? Are they able to keep that throne? Because we've seen so many other teams, early days, unable to keep that. They dropped it. But these guys still look unfazed, unpressured, and leading the scene.
Yeah, absolutely. And you think back to recent performances, there's a blemish or two across regionals. Again, even talk about the Sonics loss on Icebox and then eventually dropping a series to Accept. But these guys come out in their first performance, and yes, a 3-mapper. I wouldn't have called that one.
No, I'm with you.
I would have led towards a straight 2-0. But Sentinels close out. Yep. I think we get a really, really good look at exactly where they're sat coming into Berlin, and it's looking fantastic.
I'm with you. I think this will be harder. I think this will be more of a test for Sentinels. Last time it was a flawless run. Already it's a tougher test technically in their first game in groups. I think the caliber here has improved. I think we have a higher quality of teams coming in. And again, for G2, let's flip that switch as well. The team that just took on Sentinels, who came in with a question mark hanging above their head of which form do we see? What sort of team do we see? They're a team that actually took a map off Sentinels at LAN, which is, honestly, not a bad accolade considering how flawless Sentinels have been recently.
Absolutely. I mean, a testament in itself. And to say that we came out of the first series from G2 having certain questions about maybe stumbling and maybe not being on their A game, I guess is the term to apply there. So to come and do the same thing versus Sentinels, brilliant to see. Again, there's lots of issues to fix though. And I keep coming back to this composition question with G2 of if they need Kellogg's to come online, that supports the system. It needs work. It needs real work.
Yeah, there's plenty to kind of take back and maybe work on in the future for G2, just going forward. Again, the group stage is grueling. There's a lot more to be seen. But speaking of things we have to see, it will be the Prime Gaming match highlights for you guys. So have a little look back on, refresh your minds, because this was a long series and we've still got more to go.
Down B. One enemy remaining.
What are you doing? The most important
Would you like a bug?
One enemy. Down A.
There we go, Nurky. He's just left into the arms and he's got the back onto Shaz.
Deploying drone.
One enemy remaining. 3. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
Look sharp.